Notification Media presents a free online fan musical by the Maya Fey Protection Squad, based on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney by CAPCOM, and Turnabout Musical by PW Musical Productions. Turnabout, an Ace Attorney musical. Act 1. Scene 1. Phoenix's apartment.
It is the dark age of the law. As the number of police arrests continue to rise, the jury has been removed from the courtroom.
Trials last no more than 2 days, and the burden of proof has been placed on the defense.
Defendants rarely go free, and for many prosecutors, all that matters is maintaining their own perfect guilty record.
But there are still some attorneys out there who continue to fight an uphill battle for their clients. Some who, above all else, fight for justice.
Starting today, I am one of them. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Junior Ace Attorney. Attorney. What time is it anyway? 9:20? Oh no. Alright, Phoenix, pull yourself together. You can still make it. Hang on, Chief. I'm coming. 40 minutes till the trial starts and I'm half an hour away. I've got the shakes, my body aches, my hair's in disarray. But I stayed up all night reading files so I know what I'm gonna say. I'm secure and I'm sure I'll endure on this August day. Okay. Today's the day I'll need to prove I'm the best. And the world is watching my inaugural test. But am I truly prepared? If pressed, I'd confess I'm a bit stressed and scared. Can I bring justice to light? Can I fight? I'll try, and if I don't cry, then I'll do all right. I can hope and dream and pray that I'll win on this August day. Excuse me.
See that man running like he's in some race?
Pardon me, sorry.
Spiky-haired jerk, he almost ran through me.
Watch it.
I think he's part of that big murder case.
Coming through.
Sure looks guilty to me.
Today's the day my paycheck comes in the mail.
You won't need to borrow bus fare from the guys in jail.
That's right.
Those with our authority
Must maintain the peace in our society.
Maggie, you see, there's been something on my mind.
Well, what?
You look nice.
Thanks. How kind.
This modern world needs our best. Our finest have no time to rest. Another day, another chase. Ensure another winning case.
Mr. Payne,
Yes?
a word, please. I'd like to be quite clear.
Yes?
Your career is on the line in court today.
My career? Don't worry, sir. I'm sure that I can get that guilty verdict.
No more failures. When you prosecute, you must learn to be perfect.
Phoenix Wright, you're late.
Sorry, Chief.
Sorry doesn't cut it in a murder trial. Mr. Butts is counting on you. Are you going to be okay, right?
I have to be. For Larry's sake. Ever since we were kids, he's been, well, unlucky. As the saying went, when something smells,
Guilty!
it's usually the Butts.
I'm guilty, you hear? Put me on death row! Life's not worth living without my Cindy! The Cleopatra to my Mark Antony, the Juliet to my Romeo, the Padme to my Anakin!
Larry, didn't they all die?
Nick!
Mr. Butts? My name is Maya Fey. I'll be helping Phoenix defend you as his co-counsel. We should clear up a few things before court. What were you doing on the day of the murder?
I went to her apartment, Cindy's, but she wasn't there, so I left.
Was she expecting you?
Well...
You were dumped. Again.
Hey! She didn't dump me. She was just taking a break from me. Forever.
Things could get ugly in there. Your client clearly has a motive for murder, and I heard the prosecution has a key witness. But as long as you believe in your client, you'll be okay. Ready, right?
Yes, Mia. I mean, Chief.
Good. Now buckle up, Buttercup. The courtroom war is about to begin. Stand tall and face all your fears, one by one. Don't get too rattled, your battle has just begun.
So will this phoenix take flight off the ground? I'll soar with glory, my story will be renowned. Now let's get this trial underway. My courtroom premiere, I will persevere. I'm here on this clear August day.
The judge sits and bangs his gavel. The crowd and Larry are seated, while Phoenix, Mia, the prosecutor Winston Payne, and the bailiff Maggie Bird remain standing.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts.
The defense is ready, sir. I mean, Your Honor. Allow me to summarize our defense against these baseless charges. Our defendant, Mia, Mr. Larry Butts, was simply in the wrong place at the right time.
Keep it together, Wright.
If I may, Your Honor, the prosecution is more than ready to prove this nervous rookie is protecting a murderer. I present to the court record this statuette of the Thinker. It was found wiped clean of all fingerprints next to the victim's brutalized corpse. Miss Cindy Stone was murdered in the darkness of a neighborhood blackout. But our jealous defendant made one mistake. He left a witness!
Frank Sawat enters from the prosecution side of the courtroom and makes his way to the stand. He appears nervously overeager.
Sir, please state your name and occupation for the record and tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. I'm Frank Sawat, freelancer, and I saw the whole thing.
This is it, right?
But Chief, what can I do against eyewitness testimony?
If your client's innocent, this testimony's fiction. Examine your court record for the contradiction. It's time for you to take control. The story's clearly phony. Present something to poke a hole in the testimony.
I see.
The witness is clearly lying to throw you off your case. So find a contradiction to rob in his smug face. And after you have made your careful selection, present some evidence as your aid and yell objection.
I was selling magazines door to door when I saw that man suspiciously exiting the apartment. He left the door wide open, so I peeked inside and I saw a woman lying on the floor, dead! Such a horrifying sight. I couldn't even bring myself to go inside. Her apartment's phone wasn't working, and I don't have a cell phone, so I had to go find a payphone to call the cops.
He didn't go inside. That's probably the fastest contradiction I've ever heard.
So you've got to point it out. If that man tries to deceive, demand the court's attention. In order to make them believe, you must create some tension. How dare the witness tell a lie when there are lives at stake? Look him in the eye and bang your desk and press him till he breaks.
Hold it! You say you didn't go inside. How did you know the phone wasn't working?
You see, the phone was on a shelf next to the door. I didn't go any further in than the doorway.
You're getting closer. Don't let him slither between your fingers.
We've witnessed trials throughout these years inside this narrow hall. Always the only thing that we know is the way they bang and point and shout. Makes for a darn good show.
So, like I was saying, I found her dead at 11:24 a.m.
11:24? That's awfully specific.
Yes, well, I remember hearing the time.
You heard the time? How did you hear the time?
It must have been on, radio? A television show that announced the time.
TV show?
At last, this case finally begins to unwind. You know what to do, right?
Let's do it, Chief.
When the witness is clearly lying to throw me off my case, I'll find a contradiction to rub in their smug face. And after I have made my careful selection, I'll present some evidence as my aid and yell.
Objection!
With growing confidence, Phoenix retrieves the thinker.
Mr. Sawt, it is not possible that you heard a TV show the day of the murder. As Mr. Payne informed us, there was a blackout in the apartment complex during that time.
I must have... yes, I remembered it wrong. You're right, it wasn't a TV show. I heard the time from the murder weapon, that clock.
Clock? The murder weapon was a statue, not a...
And again, you are wrong, Mr. Wright. Their murder weapon is indeed a clock, which says the time allowed. I didn't bring it up because I thought it was an unnecessary detail.
What?
You got this, right, Nick?
Larry,
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a recess to review the evidence. A few minutes should be enough.
Very well. Court is now in recess.
Yeah, I'm the rookie killer. Another one to bite the dust.
The judge, Maggie, Larry, Payne, Sawat, and the crowd exit, leaving Phoenix and Mia alone in the courtroom.
Chief, I'm sorry. I've wasted all your time. I can't save Larry. I can't make a difference. Ugh, what was I thinking?
He puts his head down on the defense's bench, knocking over the thinker.
I think the time is 10:20.
Right. Of course you can make a difference. Why do you think I chose you as my junior partner? I saw something special in you.
Chief.
Your friend needs you now, Phoenix. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Or doubting yourself. There are times when you'll feel lonely and defeated. And throughout some trials you'll only be mistreated. These assaults mean to deceive. But before you take your leave, I would like to share with you what I believe. See, I've been there too, and it's dehumanizing. If you feel you're trapped, it can be paralyzing. It may shake us to the core, But throughout this courtroom war, I remember the ideals I'm fighting for. I fight for truth, I fight for justice, I fight for everyone to have a fair chance. And when faced with tribulation, I think of my own inspiration. He taught me to always hold my stance. I fight for men, I fight for women, I fight for anyone who aims to do what's right. So I chose this occupation, a dedication to salvation. For society, I fight. It's time for a turnabout. Think differently. Sure, we now know it's a clock. Never give up, Phoenix, especially against them. Some opponents are dishonest, they'll do anything to win. And that's when the true challenges begin. Just believe in your client and the truth will be explored. And don't forget just what you're fighting for. We fight for peace, we fight for order, we fight with evidence, intelligence, and trust. And we entered this vocation to prevent misinformation, to aim for a verdict fair and just. We fight for all, we fight with honor, so stand wholeheartedly and keep your goals in sight. And in times of desperation, defend with raw determination, standing tall behind our station we'll unite, seeking justice for all. We fight.
The rest of the courtroom returns to their places. Phoenix flips through his evidence folder, easily finding what he needs.
The court will come to order. Mr. Wright, have you prepared a closing statement?
Right.
I can do it, Chief. I have, Your Honor. The defense is prepared to prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the witness was the true murderer of Miss Cindy Stone.
Ridiculous!
As we've established, the witness heard the murder weapon say that it was 11:24. So tell me, Mr. Sawit, how was it activated?
That is...
The only way you could have known this statue was a clock is if you held it in your hand.
He slams the desk with the thinker.
I think the time is 10:25.
You held this clock, didn't you, witness? When you hit Miss Stone on the head with it. That's why you were so sure the murder occurred at 11:24. The voice that spoke when you killed her was burned into your memory.
What? That's... how... do you...
Mr. Sawit! You did see Larry Butts yesterday when he knocked on Miss Stone's door, because you had already broken into the apartment to do some freelance burglary. Am I correct?
Sawit tears off his toupee in anger and throws it in Phoenix's face.
All right, yes, I admit it. I went into her apartment. I was there when she came in, and she just wouldn't stop screaming. So I...
You hit Cindy Stone with the thinker!
Sawit foams at the mouth and dramatically falls to the ground. The crowd bursts into discussion.
Order! Order! Bailiff, detain the witness for questioning.
Objection! This is badgering the witness.
Pain trails off as the judge glares at him. Sawit is cuffed and taken away by Maggie.
It seems Mr. Sawit will soon face a trial of his own. As for this trial, I find the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty. Court is adjourned.
The judge exits. The crowd disperses, chatting among themselves excitedly. Payne mopes off, head hanging low. Larry goes up to Mia.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you! Here, as a token of my appreciation.
Larry produces another statuette of the thinker and presents it with a flourish like a bouquet of flowers to Mia.
But isn't this the murder weapon?
Nah, I made 2 of them. His and hers, you know?
She takes the clock.
Why, then I'm pleased to accept. Thank you.
And Nick, thanks a lot, man. Only a BFF would do this no bono. Live long and prosper, my dude.
That's pro bono.
Freedom!
When something smells, right?
That's Larry for you. But I've owed him this favor ever since we were kids. Him and one other friend.
Right? Would you like to join me for dinner tonight? I'll invite my sister Maya, too. It can be your victory celebration.
Sure. Thanks, Chief.
No matter the odds against us, I'll be there to help you fight. So force a grin and don't give in, and one day we'll make it right. See you tonight!
I did it. I actually did it! I won it. I still can't believe it. In this world, it's tough to excel. But if I have faith, I'll achieve it. If I just trust my clientele, challenge everything contradictory, I realize what knowledge is worth. I know now the sweet taste of victory. I know this trial is my rebirth. Here I am, the court and trial behind me. Here I stand, ready to face a new day. And with each passing hour, I'm alive, I'm empowered. I feel that nothing can stand in my way. Here I go, ready to tackle the next case. And who knows if this is all just a dream. But if so, let me sleep, or I'll start counting sheep to prevent a rude awakening. Here I am. When my darkest fears came true, I thought my career was through, and this wasn't meant to be. But Chief helped me to rebound, and I turned the case around. I owe her this victory. Maya Fey's the one who helped me through this battle. This victory is shared between us, it's true. And as long as she's there, she'll assuage my despair and help me through. Me and Chief, a team about to turn over a new leaf, and we will gladly stand tall. And with her by my side, standing firm as my guide, I feel pride and I know I won't fall. Now maybe I'm a lawyer after all. Here I am, Chief. You ready to go? Chief? Who's there? What happened?
She's dying! Help her!
I don't know what to do.
Whoa! Everyone freeze! You're both suspects of murder!
Who are you?
Homicide Detective Dick Gumshoe, see? We're investigating a little tip we got from the hotel across the street, pal. Don't neither one of you move an inch. Whoa, what's this? Maya, huh? This name means something to either of you?
It's my name, sir.
What? Oh, it's all coming together now. A message in blood, written with the victim's last ounce of strength. Case closed, pal. You and I've got a date downtown.
What? Let me go! No, I'm not the killer! Help me, please!
Where am I? Please wake me up from this nightmare. Here I lie, no one to answer my call. I'm asleep. It's not true. Chief, I'm lost without you. How can you call this justice for all?
Maggie walks next to Phoenix expectantly. Phoenix realizes she is there, slowly stands up, and walks out with her. Lights fade. Scene 2. Prosecutor's office. Miles Edgeworth sits at his desk, perusing a file. Winston Payne hesitantly enters.
Mr. Edgeworth, you asked to see me?
That's Prosecutor Edgeworth to you, Winston Payne. A title for which you seem to hold no respect. Not even for yourself. 5 cases this quarter, all of them losses. The rookie killer indeed.
Sir, I prepared my case as best I could. I was ready to...
Save your breath. I have no need for excuses. And I am not the one to whom you'll have to explain yourself.
No, please, you're not reporting me to him.
I must. You're aware of his stance on such matters. I'd hate to be in your place, Mr. Payne. You may go now. Guilty convictions, no matter the cost. That is the role of the prosecutor. Keeping the peace in these dangerous times is the sacred decree we must heed.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir?
Ah, yes?
I've got the new paperwork for the murder of that lawyer lady, Maya Fey.
Thank you, Detective. Now, back to work. The criminals out there are relentless, but so are we. Perfection is the life we lead.
They exit. Scene 3. Detention Center. Maya Fey sits alone in her cell.
Okay, Maya. Deep breaths. You've been alone in places like this before. Just pretend you're back home. You're meditating in the channeling chamber.
She enters a Seiza sitting pose, locks her fingers together, and shuts her eyes.
Head up, back straight. Remember the smell of sage. I feel my chest tightening, my body's going numb, and this awful, rising feeling that I'll never leave this cage. But then... you were there to dry my tears. You taught me to always do what's right. So I know if you were here, you'd want me to stand tall and fight. So I will not hide from this pain inside. Though my mind is screaming, run away. I will force a grin, I will not give in. I am alright, I'm okay. With level head and back up straight, you stare unflinching at your fate. Ignore the heartache somehow. Train your mind, devote your days, uphold the power of the face. But where are they all now? Mom disappeared before I turned 3. But you and me, we got by just fine. Now you've left me too with just a legacy. I didn't want to be mine, and I cannot be what they want from me with just a shadow of your skill. You were brave and kind, and you left behind shoes that I could never hope to fill. With level head and back up straight, you stare unflinching at I'm still here, despite it all. I'm alive, and you are dead, even though the world would be better off if it had been me instead. I'm sorry, sis, but I'm not sure if I can go on anymore. I am not okay. You stood up and paid the cost. I guess that truth and justice lost so much for fighting life.
As Maya drops her head down, Maggie, the guard, clears her throat.
You have another visitor.
Phoenix enters and walks closer to the visitor's chair, not sure how to approach this.
You're Maya?
Who?
We met in Mia's office. Briefly.
Oh, you're Mia's partner. Phoenix, right?
That's right. Phoenix, right. Mia said you were in town to see her?
Yeah. I live up in the mountains, but Mia called me yesterday and asked me to visit for your victory celebration. She's talked a lot about you, you know.
Really? You came all that way just to meet me?
Well, it wasn't just that. Mia had hidden some really important evidence for an upcoming case and wanted to show me where it was.
Evidence? She never told me anything about that. Where was it?
I don't know. When I arrived at the office, she was already...
She clasps the magatama around her neck.
I see. I'm sorry. If you don't mind me asking, what is that?
Oh, it's a magatama, a stone used for spirit channeling.
Phoenix stares back at her blankly.
I'm an acolyte, a medium in training. These clothes aren't just a fashion statement, you know?
A spirit medium? Ghosts possessing you and all that stuff?
Yes. In training.
Was Mia into that kind of thing too?
Maya smiles slightly.
All the Fey women are supposed to have a strong connection to the spirit world. Even Mia. Our mother was the master of our technique, the head of our village.
Wow, I never knew any of that. Does this mean you could channel Mia right now?
Her smile disappears.
I'm sorry, that was insensitive.
No, it's okay. I mean, I want to channel my sister, but I'm nowhere close to channeling spirits on command like that. To be honest, I'm not sure I'll ever be.
Maya, I can't claim to understand what you're going through. I was only Mia's junior partner for a couple years, but I miss her too. She always knew what to do.
Sis told me if I was ever in trouble, and she couldn't be there, the only ace attorney I could trust was her old senior partner Marvin Grossberg, but he just refused to defend me.
Let me defend you. I mean, I'm no ace attorney, but I can't let you face this alone, and I can't just sit and watch while the one who did this to Mia is still out there. I know you don't quite trust me yet, and I know this may sound trite, but please
represent me.
I promise I'll make it right.
Mr. Wright, the visitation period is over. You're needed back in questioning now, Miss Fey.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much.
Maya and Maggie exit. Phoenix stands up from the chair and opens his briefcase, taking out a report. Edgeworth enters, his gaze perusing what looks to be a copy of the same report, followed by Gumshoe.
Detective, while I am speaking with Miss Fey, please ensure the department receives a new copy of this.
Now, just a minute. Maya Fey just signed this paperwork assigning me as her defense attorney. I have a right to know what you're asking.
Edgeworth turns around to face Phoenix for the first time. The two share a moment of brief surprise, quickly masked by icy glares.
My client.
Well, well. Phoenix Wright, defense attorney.
Miles Edgeworth, the demon prosecutor.
Well met.
I wish I could say the same. Listen, that receipt with Maya's name written on it in blood, you think that was some kind of message from Mia, right?
Obviously. It's rather damning evidence, wouldn't you say?
Phoenix holds up the report in his hand.
Well, the official autopsy report said Mia died immediately from blunt force trauma to the head. She couldn't have written anything, especially not in her own blood.
Ah, I see you're still looking at the autopsy report from last night.
You say that as if there's more than one.
Of course. There was another autopsy conducted at my request this morning.
What?
Edgeworth reads aloud from his report.
The victim died of blunt force trauma to the head. Almost immediately. The victim could have written that message, and so she did.
That's ridiculous.
That's a perfect case. I've never lost in court, and I don't intend to start now.
Sounds like something the demon prosecutor would say.
Perhaps. But back to business. Detective.
Gumshoe responds with a salute and exits toward the interrogation. Edgeworth turns back to Phoenix.
If you're intent on defending the girl, you should know that our investigation uncovered a wiretap placed in the Fey & Co. law offices. There will also be a witness testifying in tomorrow's trial.
A wiretap and a witness?
At least act professional, right? The witness is Mr. Red White, CEO of Bluecorp. He was staying across the street at the Gatewater Hotel and witnessed the murder through the window. I'm sure you'll want to interview him.
I know it wasn't Maya who did this, Edgeworth. I'll prove it.
Say it all you like, Wright. No matter how hard you fight, you can't change the past.
Phoenix watches Edgeworth exit. Phoenix then takes a moment, steels himself, and exits with resolve. Scene 4. The Bluecorp lobby. Bluecorp workers walk by, reading papers, typing, and minding their own business. Phoenix arrives, taking in the scenery and grandeur of the offices, then moves up to Lotta Hart, sitting at a secretary's desk.
Greetings, citizen. I am Phoenix Wright, defense attorney, and I need to speak with Red White immediately.
Well, bless your heart. Let me just roll out your red carpet, Spiky.
Spiky?
Yeah. Look, Spiky, Mr. White's a very busy man. You just park yourself right over there, and he'll get to you when he's ready.
Thanks.
Phoenix walks by the slightly ajar door of Red White's office. He starts to hear a bit of the conversation inside and listens intently, unnoticed by anyone else.
Oh my, what a splendiferous painting you've donated to my collection.
Yes, sir. A donation. Quite the priceless painting, dare I say.
This should just about cover, this week's insurement for you.
This week? But sir,
Oh, but then again, it's only a few months until DL Sixmas. What an article it would make. A 15-year anniversarial piece telling the world all about your role in that sad, sad affair.
No! That is... I'll see you next week, sir.
Such obedience! I'm so glad we had this chat. Get out.
Red White opens the door to his office, practically pushing Marvin Grossberg out. He addresses Lotta in his usual cheerful tone.
Miss Hart, I do hope you're settling in well. Please validate Mr. Grodyberg's parking.
Yes, sir, Mr. White.
Red slams his office door with a self-satisfied air.
What, my girl? You're working for Mr. White?
Nothing gets past you. Ace attorneys does it. Guess you should have paid me better. My cameras ain't gonna buy themselves. And anyhow, a news agency's a better gig for an up-and-coming photojournalist like me.
But...
Sorry, Grossberg.
He's even taking my staff.
Grossberg brushes past Phoenix, but Phoenix catches up to him.
Marvin Grossberg!
Ah! Jumpin' Jehoshaphat!
Mia trusted you with her sister, but you refused to help. This is why, isn't it? The painting. And your secretary, you're being blackmailed.
Grossberg pulls Phoenix further away from Red's office.
You're Maya Fey's junior partner, aren't you? You shouldn't be here. If White found out...
Huh? What do you mean?
Mr. White will be right with you, Spiky.
He drags Phoenix even further away.
You're actually gonna confront him? Oh, my boy, I admire your spirit, but please, get out of here while you still can.
No. I made a promise to defend Maya and find Mia's killer. Why don't you help me?
Oh, I had your dedication once, long ago, but I cannot fight him now. I made too many mistakes. So many bittersweet memories. Like the scent of fresh lemons.
Grossberg drifts off into a daze. Phoenix taps him on the shoulder, snapping him out of his reverie.
Yes, well, perhaps there is a way you might stand a chance. I've heard whispers around this office of a dossier of evidence, a list of all the people White has blackmailed, even driven to suicide. Do you have it?
No, why would I?
Because it's the last case Maya Fey was working on before she died!
A Bluecorp worker walks past them as Grossberg speaks. Grossberg drags Phoenix as far away from Red's office as possible. The worker surreptitiously enters the office.
Look here. Mia has been building that dossier against White for years. If it were made public now, his whole operation would come crashing down. She must have hidden it really well, or else his connections would have found it already. If you can find it first, then maybe...
Suddenly, Red bursts through his office door, staring straight at the two attorneys. Every Bluecorp worker shoots up to attention.
Oh, Mr. Lawyer. I've been expectorating you.
Grossberg bolts for the exit, only offering Phoenix a quick
Godspeed
before slamming the door shut behind him. The Bluecorp workers, in tight coordination, come together and push Phoenix toward Red, until Phoenix is standing right in front of him. Red ushers Phoenix into his office.
After you, my compatriot.
Phoenix hesitantly enters. Scene 5. Lights up on Red's office, decorated with many eclectic items, mementos of his dealings, including the samurai spear and the King of Prosecutors trophy. The Bluecorp workers stand in position behind Red's grotesquely shaped gold desk. Red is showing Phoenix a framed tabloid from The Blue Star, dated January 2002. The headline reads, "PDLA puts up spirited case?"
And this? Oh, this is the most esteemed part of my collection. The very article that put Bluecorp on the map. The soup du jour, one might say.
The what?
Oh, pardon moi. Is my giantess vocabulary confuddling you? Perhaps I should start the tour all over again.
That won't be necessary. You've already shown me everything twice, including the new secretary you're so proud of.
Yes! Well, I'm certain this one won't be caught wiretapping. So naughty. Now then, I believe I have some questions for you.
No, I'm the one asking the questions here.
Red stops, truly dumbfounded. The worker's eyes start shifting nervously.
You are an almond delight. Let me guess, you're a lawyer fresh out of law school, am I right?
How did you know?
Well, that's the only explanation as to why you'd say something like that. Let me help you comprehend something, kid. Red White makes the rules. Red White throws the dice. Red White has the personage that makes everyone look twice. Red White draws the lines. Red White deals the cards. People stop me everywhere to betrust me their regards. Hello, but Red's a decent man with old-fashioned ideals. Red will answer one question because that's just how nice he feels.
Okay, Mr. White, fine. Tell me, what does Bluecorp do exactly?
Bluecorp, my labor of love, my pride and prejudice. Bluecorp intakes information, we buy and sell it too. You may not know, but Bluecorp is named for the color blue. Thought it up myself. Red White gets the best. Red White follows through. Ask not what you can do for Red, but what Red can do for you. And what can Red White do for you, Monsignor? I'll count that last question as practice. Now here's your only chance. Make it worthwhile.
All right. There was one last thing I wanted to know. Did you kill Maya Fey?
That is one magnificentious claim there, Mr. Wrong, was it? Now tell me, what are you really doing here?
I'm here to change the world. You see this? This is Maya Fey's dossier on all of Bluecorp's illicit activities. If you don't turn yourself in right now, I'll be handing this over to the police.
Gasp! Oh no! You've beaten me in my own game! Oh, how ironical! But before I'm carted away, just one more thing. Kid, I own the police. I saw you talk to Grody Bird. The rat just had to squeak. Ask him why I have this painting. I'll tell you why. He's weak. Only the strong survive, kid. And Red White's the alpha male. You're caught in the lion's den, boy, and you've brought my holy grail. Now let's see what Miss Mia left us. Where is it?
Where's what?
The dossier, man! Where is it?
I won't tell you. It's safe, at least. Safe from you.
Now don't you come here trying to kick me off my throne. Let he who is with sin and loves it cast the final stone. Connect me to the chief prosecutor's office, please, and get the police over here right away to arrest this dangerous criminal.
What?
You got it, Mr. White.
White, what do you want? This isn't a great time.
Oh, Miss Skye, I've decided I want to amendify my testimony for tomorrow's trial. It seems I was mistaken about who the real culprit was.
But Mr. Edgeworth has already prepared a watertight case against Maya.
Quietude! I said I changed my mind now, didn't I? And I don't believe you're in any position to question me. And by the way, I want that dossier. Get it from him.
No. Why?
Because, I can, Mr. Lawyer. I control this city all the way to the top. I am the law. And you? You're nothing. A measly speck in a world of giants. It's funny. That's all Maya Fey was, too. And now, I'm afraid I must do something Jurassic with you. A dance break! Alright now, big smiles just like we practiced. Box step, shuffle step, and sway. Plie, jeté, frappuccino, creme brulee. Kickball change, dab, pirouette, raisinets. And kick, and I said kick, Penny. That's it. I can't even. Out with you.
What is going on in here?
Oh, Detective, here is the fiend who broke into my office. He's the criminal you're looking for.
Detective, please.
Sorry, pal. Chief Prosecutor's orders.
If you want something done right.
Red White breaks the rules. Red White loads the dice.
Sing it to me, baby.
Red White has the power, so take Red White's advice. Red White steps the deck. Red White is always ahead. Ask not what Red can do for you,
but what you can do Y'all come back now, you hear?
Red laughs as Gumshoe drags Phoenix out of the office. Blackout. Scene 6. Back in the detention center, Maggie escorts Maya out of her holding cell.
What's going on?
We're preparing for your release.
So Mr. Wright proved I'm innocent?
Sort of. Since he's been arrested, you're no longer a suspect.
What? But there's no way Mr. Wright could have... He's in there because of me. I have to do something.
Maya tries to go back towards the cell. Maggie shakes her head sympathetically and pushes Maya gently towards the exit.
Oh, sorry. Chief Prosecutor's orders.
They exit. The scene shifts to another holding cell, where Phoenix is detained. Lana Skye and Edgeworth enter.
Mr. Wright, my name is Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. I'll keep this simple. Our witness is under the impression you might know the whereabouts of a certain dossier. Is that the case?
No, I hadn't even heard of it before today.
This is no time to be difficult, Wright. If you hand it over to the department or tell us what you know, the prosecution is willing to consider a more lenient punishment for your crimes.
So the rumors were true. The backroom deals of the demon prosecutor.
Right.
I'm innocent, Edgeworth, and you know it. Now you're trying to get me to confess to something I didn't do? You've really changed.
Skye turns away in annoyance. She says to Edgeworth,
Just call me if he decides to talk.
Then exits, leaving Phoenix and Edgeworth alone.
Right. If you're telling the truth, if you really don't know anything, if you plead guilty, I can still try to get you a lighter sentence.
A beat. Phoenix turns his back on Edgeworth and sits in the cell.
I haven't shown you what I can do as the demon prosecutor. Just think about it. Right.
Edgeworth looks back at Phoenix one last time before exiting. A spotlight on Phoenix as he is left alone, finally letting all of his emotions and grief rush in.
It feels as though I've been here before, long before I entered the courtroom ward. I know the truth, but my hands are tied. I'm in the dark, for your light has died. What have I done? I let you die
before my eyes. All I could do was lie there and cry.
Who will save the day? Chief,
Mia,
I'm lost without you. Your guidance was the only way I got through.
And now it's up to me to uphold our family name. But how am I supposed to do that when all they feel is shame?
I was naive to think I'd ever rise to face what the future would bring. I thought that I could change the world, but I couldn't change a thing. Maybe I should just give up. I don't even know what I'm fighting for anymore.
Maybe I should just run away. How could I even help? I'm not... Sis! No.
No.
I know better.
This isn't what you would want.
Even though I'm lonely and defeated, I won't allow our name to be mistreated.
As long as I survive, I'll keep your ideals alive.
The justice you deserve won't be denied.
Guard! Guard!
Hey, are you all right, sir?
You can tell Miles Edgeworth that I reject his offer. Tell him I'll see him in court.
Things will not end this way. This fight I will renew. In me, my family's power will shine through.
I will shine through. Tomorrow I'll stand up for you and prove the truth in court. I won't forget what you were fighting for. What have I done? I saved Maya, I let her go free.
Mia's spirit will live on in me.
I can save the day.
I'm alright, I'm okay
and with your
with
memory I will not give in.
I know come what may.
I will find a way.
I will fight. Like a
on this August day.
Scene 7, the next morning. Everyone but Edgeworth is in place in the courtroom. Phoenix and Maya talk quietly to each other.
Thanks for coming to help me, Maya.
I don't know much about defending, but you were there for me, Mr. Wright, so I'll be here for you too.
Edgeworth enters, causing them to straighten up. The judge bangs his gavel.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Maya Fey.
He looks at his paperwork closer.
Mr. Phoenix Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, are you electing to defend yourself?
I am.
Then this young lady is...
Maya Fey, Your Honor. Sir, I'm,
She's my co-counsel in this trial, Your Honor.
Yes, his co-counsel.
She holds up her hand for a high five. Phoenix reciprocates after some hesitation.
I see. Do you have an opening statement?
I didn't do it.
Is that all?
Phoenix nods.
Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement.
Decisive evidence. A decisive witness. Nothing else is required, Your Honor. Detective.
Gumshoe rushes excitedly to the center of the courtroom, showing off the evidence as Edgeworth talks, a la The Price is Right.
The victim, Maya Fey, was found near the window in her office on the night of August 3rd, dead from a single blow to the head. The murder weapon was a crude miniature recreation of the Thinker.
Gumshoe places the Thinker on the defense's bench.
Detective Gumshoe was among the first responders on the scene.
We found the deceased and 2 others when we arrived. Maya Fey and the defense attorney, Harry Butts.
My name's not Harry.
We immediately arrested Maya Fey because we found a receipt with her name written on the back, in the victim's blood.
The crowd murmurs in confusion.
Of course, our investigation later concluded that the message in blood was written and planted by the true culprit, Phoenix Wright, in an attempt to frame the poor girl. Fortunately, we were able to arrest him once he was identified by our witness.
Maggie escorts a totally blinged out Red White to the witness stand.
Please state your name and occupation and tell us what happened.
Red White, CEO of Bluecorp. And may I say that it's so good to see you again, Your Honor. I trust we're still on for our meeting next week.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is bad.
Now, let's see. I was perusifying my latest children's book, Red White's Excellent Adventure, when I glanced outside and saw the whole grotesque affair take place in the building across the street.
Hold it. What made you look out the window?
Why, the cacophony sounds of the shattering glass light stand. You must have knocked poor Miss Maya into it during your pursuit.
Phoenix bangs his desk, points straight at Red, and yells at the top of his voice.
Objection!
Everyone turns to Phoenix in surprise. He points to a diagram of the office.
Look at the floor plans of the Fey & Co. law offices. Mr. White, you couldn't have seen the light stand from outside the window. The only way you could have known it was there is if you were standing inside the office.
This is no time for jokes, Wright. The only people in the office at that time were the victim and the killer.
Edgeworth's eyes widen slightly as the crowd begins to chat loudly. The judge bangs his gavel several times.
Care to explain, Mr. White?
Oh, Mr. Edgelord, won't you call a recess for me?
No, Mr. White. I agree with the defense.
What?
I do believe it's time you confessed.
What?
To wiretapping.
What?
I mean, yes, of course. Allow moi to expandify. When there's intel to buy or sell, well, you can count on me. We'll find bombshells for our clientele, that's a red-white guarantee. About a week ago, as the CEO know there was knowledge to be known. So away I go off to Fay and Co. to tippy tap a phone. You see, I saw the stand when I was standing there alone.
I'm to understand that you're an honest businessman. Your story is this present trial space. Yet you openly admitted to a felony you committed against the very victim in this case.
Oh, Red White's friends and Red White's foes are dazzled by what Red White knows. The stream of information flows because all folks have their price. So Red White's been and Red White's seen, but Red White's hands are squeaky clean. I never harm a human being because Red White's just nice.
Right, the truth is your toothless proof is a simply useless denial. Red, White, wiretapped, but this is a murder trial.
So close and yet so far. How can we bring this murderer down? If Mia were here, she would turn this whole thing around.
I'm sure the judge, the little nudge, sees I would never lie.
Oh, no.
And he won't offend my dear old friend, the head cop on a sky.
Seriously?
I know them well, so you can tell your sorry case I do.
You are hearing
they say
this, right?
okay to what I say, so what I say is true. Now you see the power of what Red can do for you.
Well, Mr. Wright, this testimony is compelling. Do you have anything to say in your defense?
You fought admirably, right. But now it's time to admit defeat.
Mr. Wright!
You knew your fate, but you would not submit. Now you face the might of the prosecutor. There's more at play here than passion or wit. No acquittal will ever impede my perfection. It's the life I must.
No! I'm not finished yet.
That's right, Phoenix. Never give up.
Mia. Chief.
It's just Mia now.
But how?
No time to explain. Maya's abilities are still weak, and I don't know how long I have.
Her abilities as a spirit medium? You're being channeled?
Mia spots the thinker on the defense's bench.
It's here. Phoenix, you've already won!
She picks it up, concentrating on prying the bottom open.
How? I can't prove Red White didn't see our light stand a week ago. All I have is this receipt with Maya written on the back.
He holds up the receipt with the word Maya facing Mia. For the first time, Phoenix reads what's written on the receipt's front.
Wait a minute. This means...
Mia manages to pop open the bottom of the thinker and pulls out a wadded bunch of papers headed by a list of names. She passes the front page to Phoenix.
The dossier.
Yes.
She turns to glare at Red, who is off-put by the woman next to Phoenix but can't quite understand why.
You know what to do, right? Let's end this.
Together.
The lights shift back to the full courtroom.
If the defense has nothing more to share with the court, I am ready to declare a verdict.
Hold it! Your Honor, I have just one more question to ask the witness. Mr. White, could you read the front of this receipt for me?
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to indulge you. Adam, 1 glass light stand. No, it can't be.
And the date, Mr. White?
Mr. White. Date of purchase, August 2nd. The day before the murder!
White, the only way you could have seen the light stand's shape is if you were with the victim on that night. If the late Miss Fey were somehow with us here today, what truths would she want to bring to light?
Get Red White, this parasite who's claimed so many lives.
See it clear as day in this dossier of blackmail suicide. You got away, but then it's today you're gonna pay this time. Cause we will not rest till you confess to every single crime. Witness, testify, this is the last time.
Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this?
With Red White's brain and Red White's flair, that piece of paper, I don't care, because Red White's got the demon there who'll do anything to win. So you can hope that you can try, but sorry kid, your well's run dry, and I don't need an alibi. Don't ask me where I've been. Oh, Red White's famous, Red White's guard. Look at Wright, all being scarred. Red White kicked his butt so hard, enjoy your time in jail. This Red White's judge and crown of grace outsmarted you with such a breeze. Red White's got more PhDs from Princeton, Duke, and Yale. Oh, my,
I
can't be beat.
Lucia Lobosvia, Sarah Toronto,
There's Red White cars and Red White cars. It's Red White's hotel puppy bars. It's Red White's green stars and Red White national parks. Where'd you get that rich name?
Roger Rosenquist, Aaron Long, Rick Smith, Rebecca Che, Amanda Tam, Marvin Grossberg.
Stop!
What? Grossberg?
Edgeworth snatches the front page of the dossier from Phoenix and stares at it, dumbfounded. The crowd continues to yell for Red's guilt.
Order! Order!
Hey, Judgy, my stomach hurts. There's simply no way I could continue in this state. How's about we call it quits for today?
Why, Mr. White? So you have time to make this evidence disappear? Maybe make me disappear too?
Edgeworth looks up at Phoenix, the judge, the crowd, and Red in turn. He looks lost.
Your Honor, Mr. White's guilt is obvious. Every day he goes free is another day people suffer at his hands.
The crowd is uproarious. They're on Phoenix's side.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I must honor a request for an extension in this case.
The crowd is outraged at this.
Objection!
Everyone is shocked by this outburst, not least of all, Edgeworth.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
The only individuals here who have the legal authority to request an extension to this trial are myself and Mr. Wright. The defense has made its position clear, and the prosecution is inclined to agree. Your Honor, I request that the verdict be decided at this time.
The crowd chatters in a mass of confusion.
But, Mr. Edgeworth, if we end the trial in its current state, then you'll...
I am aware of the circumstances, Your Honor. And still, the prosecution rests.
Edgeworth.
Whisper Red your secrets, so promise not to tell. Red White learns your weaknesses to make life a living hell. Red would take your very bones to grind into his bread. Ask not what Red can do for you.
I did it!
Did what?
I hit Miss Maya with the thinker.
Or you could wind up dead. Case closed, Your Honor.
A beat. The judge looks back and forth between the defense and Red. Edgeworth stands shaking at the prosecutor's bench.
Of course. I see no reason to prolong this trial further. I pronounce the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Court is adjourned.
The crowd cheers, tossing up confetti, and begins to file out, chatting excitedly. Mia slumps behind the defense's bench as Red is let out in cuffs by Maggie.
Chief, you really bailed me out there.
Phoenix sees Mia has changed back into Maya.
Maya?
Edgeworth shuts his briefcase too hard, prompting Phoenix to look up and get his attention before he storms out of the courtroom.
Edgeworth.
Edgeworth stops, but does not turn around.
I don't know exactly what happened today, but...
You're right.
He spins around to glare at Phoenix.
You've no idea what you've just done. The things you've put in motion. These feelings you've burdened me with. They serve no useful purpose. Don't ever show your face to me again.
Edgeworth exits. Maya stirs awake.
Mr. Wright?
Maya, are you alright?
What? Yeah. Did you do it? Did you win?
Yeah. Thanks to you. And Mia.
He offers a hand to help Maya up, and the two begin to depart.
And thanks to you, Nick.
Nick?
Oh, it's a great name. Mia told me that's what your friends call you.
Phoenix glances in the direction Edgeworth exited.
I mean, Larry does.
They exit. Blackout. Scene 8. Later that day at the Fey & Co. law offices. It is still a mess from the night of the murder. Phoenix and Maya are in the middle of cleaning, dusting the glass shards into the trash, picking up the books that were strewn across the floor and putting them back onto the shelves, and turning Charlie, the potted plant, upright. Phoenix is leafing through Mia's dossier.
Sis did say something about getting me a present. I bet she wanted me to take the thinker back to the mountains where no one could find it.
And I suppose she never told me about it because she didn't want to put me in danger.
Yeah, but you still risked the death penalty to help me. And sis, I'll always be grateful to you for that.
Well, I couldn't have done it without the Fey sisters by my side.
Maya puts the last big book on the shelf. There's an empty spot. Phoenix puts Mia's papers into an empty binder sitting on her desk. He puts the binder on the shelf, and it fits perfectly.
So, Nick, I've been thinking. You're going to be taking over Sis's office, right?
Well, yeah, I suppose I will.
In that case, would it be okay if I stayed here for a while?
In the office?
Well, you know, I would work here.
Oh, you're applying for a job. Okay.
Phoenix grabs an application file and begins to go down the list.
Let's see. Do you have any prior experience working in a law firm?
Nope.
Did you perhaps study some of the techniques your sister used?
Not a bit.
Do you have any knowledge at all about law?
None whatsoever.
Maya, I'm starting to wonder what exactly you can do for me.
Oh, lots of things. I'll water Charlie each time you forget. I'd clean the litter if you had a pet. I'll keep the couch warm whenever you're gone.
What couch?
And sometimes I may mow the lawn.
What lawn?
I promise your remote won't gather dust, and that your TV trays never will rust. I don't need gratitude or a high pay.
You're hired.
Just feed me 4 meals every day.
You're fired.
And I'll be there when you need a friend. I'll be there to support you. And in the courtroom, I'll help you defend. Every time they outsmart you,
Hey.
I'll provide a pleasant mood. All that we have we can share. You lend your money, your home, and your food, and it's true that for you I'll be there. Sounds like a nice arrangement, eh, Nick?
Well,
Maya,
I don't quite know what to say. I'm a decent lawyer, but fights are my forte. As a caretaker, well, frankly, I reek. I had a goldfish, it died in a week. I babysat poorly way back in the day. They paid me to keep me away. I can't see myself undertaking this task, but please don't think I'm a jerk.
To have you around is the one thing I ask, and I've got a hunch this is going to work.
Now wait a minute, are you planning on setting up a tent in front of the fax machine, or?
Of course not. I'm not gonna sleep here. That'd just be weird. I'll only be working. And maybe spending my free time here, you know, watching your TV, eating all your food.
That's not exactly sweetening the deal.
Well, there is one other reason. This note. I found it in my stuff a couple weeks ago. Mia must have slipped it in the last time I visited.
If anything should happen, take care of Phoenix for me.
She knew how risky her pursuit of Red White was.
So, she trusts us to watch out for each other.
Yeah, and the truth is, when Mia passed on, I felt all alone and torn up inside. All hope was lost and I had no shoulder to cry on. Then you came along and I feel like I'm home and you're at my side. I deeply needed someone who I could rely on. And if you're with me, we'll make it through anytime and anywhere. I can stay strong and I'll show that it's
true, just as long as I know you'll be there.
All right. Well, I'm convinced we can give it a shot. Make sure you give everything that you've got. So I'll see you every weekday at 9. Now just sign right here on the line. And I'll be there and I'll watch your back. Don't despair, I'm behind you.
If I need a tight one,
or I need a brat, I'll know just where to find you.
Through thick and thin will shine the light.
A defensive powerhouse pair. Okay, you win, you'll start tonight.
I knew that you would make it right.
For truth and justice we will fight. And for you, I will be there.
Now let's go celebrate with some burgers. Your treat?
Lights out on the new Wright & Co. law offices. Scene 9. The prosecutor's offices. Edgeworth enters, deep in thought.
Guilty of blaming an innocent man. Is that the curse of the prosecutor? Before I faced him, I won every case, but now I have been shamed and disgraced. I knew we were framing an innocent man, yet I did not dare reconsider. I was relentless in playing my cards, and yet somehow my hand fell apart. After Wright sauntered in with that grin on his face, though he bluffed the whole time, somehow he won the case. And it pains me how one man so new to the law can incense me so much that it breaks my resolve. Right. I don't believe that man. Turning down my proposal, clinging stubbornly to some romanticized ideal. Mr. Von Karma.
Mouse Edgeworth. Yes, I have a letter that needs to be mailed.
Sir? Of course, sir. Sir, about the trial today.
Fool! Save your breath. Von Karma has no need for excuses. I thought I was doing a good deed for you, taking you in when no one would, instructing you in the ways of perfection. I believed you would be the finest heir of the Von Karma legacy, but no. It is clear you will always be cursed with the blood of your pathetic, romanticist father. You may go now.
Sir.
I said you may go.
Even though I've fallen, I can rise again. I admit I've made a mistake. But when a new day begins, I'll make sure that I will win. Yes, I'll do whatever it takes. Staunchly I'll ascend to the top again. I won't let another go free. So this will not be the end. I'll stoke a new fire within, a personal renaissance in me. If the defendant is clearly guilty, then my methods, however extreme, should not be an issue at all. Right? Right?
Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Wright's not here anymore.
Ah, right. Indeed. Verily, I say. Ergo, did you need something, Detective?
Oh, well, no, pal. I mean, unless you want someone to talk to after today. It wasn't your fault, sir. Mr. Wright was really innocent, after all.
How can we know that? How can we know that of anyone? You may go, Detective.
But Mr. Rich...
Please!
All right. Just, if you change your mind, you can trust me to be there for you, pal.
One lingering thought fills my mind, burdening me with anxiety. Have I indeed been so blinded with pretentious piety? For if I cheat in the courts, can I say with a straight face that I'm a better man than the sorts whom I prosecute every case? But no one should go through what I've been through. Ever. Therefore, what was my role? Let it be my obligation, no, my responsibility, to condemn. Every criminal earns their punishment, so I've always done all I could. What's the harm in filling in the blanks to some extent, if it's for the greater good? Frankly, some may doubt cases I have won, but I will still live by this decree, that I'll do what must be done to capture the wicked ones, for this is demanded of me. I have gone above and beyond at times. Justice requires the extra mile, but right tries to moralize, refusing to recognize that I am not the one who is on trial. Right, why can't you understand? I'm not a monster, I'm just a man! You might count me among the damned, but that crime shall pay is my only demand. You may find these contradictions, but I want more than mere convictions. You can't comprehend just why I take my stand. I fight for peace, I fight for order, so that all families can safely sleep at night. To stop criminalization, I shall pursue incarceration for security. I'll fight you until your spirit breaks. I'll fight no matter what is at stake. Not fame, not glory, but to end this purgatory is the reason I fight, so we'll meet again. Phoenix Wright.
Blackout. During the blackout, we hear a single gunshot and a splash. End of Act 1. Intermission. Act 2. Scene 1. Gourd Lake.
Why did you call me here?
What are you doing? It's been 15 years since that day. Wait! Just stay calm!
Father! Let go of my father!
You can't imagine how I've suffered.
You suffered?
You're killing him!
What are you?
Merry Christmas.
Miles Edgeworth appears on stage with a dazed expression, holding a gun. He looks down at it, drops it, and runs away. Scene 2. As the morning dawns, a crowd gathers in People Park, all reading newspapers and gossiping among each other.
An unidentified body was found in Gourd Lake late last night.
A lone suspect was discovered at the scene of the crime. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, age 24.
Better known as the Demon Prosecutor, Edgeworth has long been under scrutiny for his extreme tactics in the courtroom.
But this arrest has concerned citizens wondering, could he be guilty of far worse?
Guilty.
He did it. He's the one.
The demon's misdeeds leave him nowhere to run. Guilty, 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 guilty. He's murderous, cold-hearted, and merciless. We can't wait till justice is served. From dirty prosecution to bloody execution, Miles Edgeworth will get what he deserves.
Since the first time I saw him, he'd do it, I said.
You saw how hard he fought for that scumbag Red.
Frankly, I'm surprised it's the first one he's shot.
He's probably done much worse and just
hasn't been caught.
This can't be true, Mr. Edgeworth. What they're saying about you, it's a lie. It has to be. I won't believe it. There's just no way that you are
guilty.
No, I won't accept this. No, I won't allow this. This can't be justice. I just can't stand this. This is not what he deserves.
It's obvious to everyone he's guilty. He's guilty until he's proven innocent. He's guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. And he'll get what he deserves.
Oh, hey, look, on page 2. A real-life lake monster spotted in Gourd Lake. They're calling it Gordy.
No way.
The crowd's mood turns on a dime. They exit, now excitedly talking about this next topic of gossip. Gumshoe is left alone as the scene transitions into the detention center.
Won't someone believe in him? Won't somebody help him? Isn't there anybody willing to fight someone to make it?
He pulls out his phone and dials a number.
Mr. Wright, it's an emergency. No, listen, you gotta... It's Mr. Edgeworth. You gotta get to the detention center now, pal. What do you mean you're already...
Phoenix enters, still with his phone to his ear, looking straight at Gumshoe.
We saw the headlines. Of course we were coming.
They hang up their phones and tuck them back in their jackets.
Actually, we were in the middle of opening presents.
Where's Edgeworth? Is he...
In detention. I just need you guys to talk to him.
That's going to be tough. I don't think he wants to ever see me again, let alone talk.
What are you talking about, pal? Ever since the Red White case, Mr. Edgeworth seemed, well, obsessed with you. Always wandering around, singing about wanting you to see him as a man.
I get your point. Look, don't hold your breath.
Thank you so much, pal.
Maggie enters and spots Gumshoe.
Dick, oh, there you are. You weren't answering your calls.
Oh, sorry, Maggie.
The chief is holding a special meeting with all of our investigators. We gotta go, now!
But...
Maggie has already nearly dragged him out of the room.
Sorry, pals. I'm sure he'll be there soon enough.
Phoenix and Maya are left alone. Tension fills the detention center, a place which both of them are far too familiar with.
So much for Mary and Bright.
Thanks for coming, Maya. I couldn't do this without my co-counsel.
Hey, I get it. Someone's gotta be your backup against that demon prosecutor, right?
She punches the air a few times.
You know he'll be behind bulletproof glass, right?
Edgeworth, immaculately groomed and clearly exhausted, is led into the visiting cell and locked in. When he catches sight of Phoenix, he starts to turn back around to leave, but cannot open the door.
Oh, come on, Edgeworth.
Phoenix sits in the visitor's chair, and Maya makes her way over much more reluctantly.
What do you want, Wright? Come to laugh at the fallen prosecutor? Very well, then. Laugh! I'm waiting!
Just drop the melodrama. We don't have so much spare time that we can come down here just to laugh at you.
Yes, you do. I had hoped you wouldn't come. Go on, tell me. What is it you have to say?
You first. What happened? How did things end up this way? We heard about it in all the wrong places. Edgeworth, please tell us. We won't let you face this alone.
Alone?
Edgeworth, let me defend you.
What? Nick, why?
Guilty of being a cowardly man. That is the luck of this prosecutor. I must have had some small flaw in my guard. I guess this is where I fall apart.
I won't let that happen.
But he condemns people every day. He didn't even care that we were innocent.
I suppose I should be sorry to all those who opposed me. Every attorney, every last client was guilty thanks to me.
Edgeworth, this is no time to be
You're
uptight.
right.
Why on earth are you helping
All
this
along,
guy?
I know that you're
all
innocent.
that I've said,
You right there
all
in
that I've
his
done,
face.
innocent.
I've only one. And you? Convince me. Go on, Wright. Tell me of my innocence. Don't be so damn trite. You know I'm deep into this. There's more on the line, no honest way out. There's no more time for you to learn what law's about.
But I've won every case.
Both of them. What an ace. Like it or not, you're an amateur. You have to lose sometime, and I'd rather it wasn't on my account.
Don't you dare talk that way to Nick. He won because he fought for the truth. Are you afraid of the truth? That's what I thought.
Edgeworth, you didn't do it, did you?
One lingering thought fills my mind, burdening me with anxiety.
Edgeworth, did you do
Crime
it?
deserves penance, and I've done all I could. Why bother helping me? This serves the greater good.
I don't believe it. I won't believe it. Don't ask me to leave while you wallow in fear. Can't you believe that you don't stand alone? I'm
One
here.
lingering thought fills my mind.
Let me fight.
Not on my behalf.
I can make this
Go
right.
ahead and
Step
laugh.
into
I
the
don't
light.
even deserve to
Let
be
me save
free.
you.
There's
You can still
nothing to
atone.
know.
No need for despair.
I find my hands
But we'll win this, I swear. Just tell me
There's
the
nothing to
Tell me the truth.
nothing to
Tell
say.
me,
There's
just trust
nothing,
me,
just
'cause
leave
you're
me
not
alone. Please, just leave me alone. All right?
Edgeworth pointedly avoids looking at Phoenix as he is escorted back to his holding cell. Phoenix stands, still staring after him. Maya re-enters.
Nick.
Phoenix snaps back to Earth.
Maya.
Nick, look. I don't like him, but I do trust you. But if we find out he did it, you owe me free burgers for a week.
Hey, I already pay for those.
Come on, co-counsel. Where are we headed?
They exit. Fade to black. Scene 3. The Criminal Affairs Department. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye is speaking to the police when Maggie and Gumshoe enter.
A guilty conviction, no matter the cost. That is the fate of the prosecutor.
I consider our work to be the cornerstone of peace and order. Security is our trade, but we've been dealt a near fatal blow, the Bluecorp scandal. Well, you all know the mess it made, and the less said there, the better. Now we have a chance to turn this travesty around and save our reputation with this bust. So if you want their respect, get the verdict they expect, and that's how we'll regain the public's trust.
We'll fight for law and order, no matter what the cost, and we will give no quarter till we regain what we lost.
What have we done? We killed the truth, replaced it with lies. Isn't this how justice does? Isn't it our job to make it?
Pardon?
I didn't. It's just...
Your job, detective, is to follow orders. The prosecution expects a perfect case, and we will provide nothing less. Am I understood? Take note, detective. If you want to keep your badge, I suggest you decide whose side you're on.
You can trust me, pal.
Then get out there and do your damn job. Dismissed.
Dick, you should probably listen to the chief. You can't afford to lose this job.
I joined the force to help people, to make a difference. What we're doing, what we've been doing, it ain't right. I consider myself to be a real man's man, see? The kind of guy who won't back down from a fight. I fought this job a lot, pal, and I gave it all I got, because I thought that we were doing right. But this is something different. We're not making bad guys pay. If they're guilty until proven innocent, the real perp gets away. So no matter what I did before, there's some things I can't ignore, and I'll face the consequences if I must. 'Cause when the stakes are high, I can't stand idly by. I'll be the kind of guy that they can trust.
What are you going to do?
Follow orders. The chief's right. It's time I do my damn job.
Metal detector in hand, Gumshoe exits toward the lake. Maggie hesitates, then follows after him. Scene 4. Gourd Lake. Phoenix and Maya enter. There is a Gourd Lake snack stand with a banner reading, "Now with Samurai Dogs." Perched on the stand is a parrot, Polly. Next to the stand is a large wooden cutout of the Steel Samurai, hand-cut and drawn with questionable technique. The shore otherwise seems peaceful and tranquil.
Wow, this lake is beautiful. I should come here to train sometime.
I guess the scene of a murder would be a good place to channel spirits.
Maya gives him a sarcastic look.
How's your training been going anyway?
Well, you know...
Trying to avoid this conversation, Maya spots the cutout next to the food stand and gasps with delight.
Nick, look! It's the Steel Samurai!
The what?
Come on, Nick! The Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo? The award-winning kids TV show? Fights for great justice?
Never heard of it. But I'm amazed you can tell what this piece of plywood is supposed to be. Who in the world would use this to advertise their food stand?
Oh, come on, man! Leave that alone!
Of course.
Larry enters, fending off the boat shop caretaker and trying to keep him from messing with the snack stand.
I need everything to be perfect for when Angel gets here.
Larry, What's going on here?
Keith? That you? Is that Meg with you? Where have you been?
The caretaker stumbles toward Phoenix and Maya, who take a step back.
That rapscallion is trying to drive business away from the pasta shop.
Pasta shop? Dude, you rent boats! Right over there! Heck, I was there yesterday, remember?
Wait, Larry, you were here?
Nonsense. If it didn't exist, I would have this jingle.
Oh no. Please don't.
Pasta shop, pasta everywhere. Pasta shop, pasta in your hair. Now listen up, you whippersnapper. Take all this junk, I want it gone. Do you think you own this lake? You kids get off my lawn.
What junk?
What kids?
What lawn?
Yesterday is hazy, 10 years ago it's all a blur. But Polly remembers the way things were. And you know the wet noodle, don't you, girl?
Wet noodle! Wet noodle! Aw, what a cute bird. Polly, hey there, gal. Polly!
Oh, hey, wow.
Hold on. Larry, please focus up. You heard what I asked, right? Do you have the slightest clue what happened here last
the
night?
wet noodle's where it's at to get a real good deal. The best place by the lake for a tasty meal.
Okay, Larry, did you...
Pasta shop, pasta everywhere. Pasta shop, pasta in your hair.
Objection!
Phoenix stops the caretaker in his tracks, who chokes from ending the song so abruptly.
Sir, listen, I really need to talk with my friend here.
Why, I oughta...
Something catches Polly's attention. She flies off in the direction of the boat shop.
Polly? What's wrong? Sweetie, use your words.
The caretaker chases after Polly.
Jeez, what an obnoxious character.
Must be hard to deal with someone so erratic.
I know, right?
Look, Larry, did you say you were here last night?
Yeah, man, what's up?
So you know about the murder, right?
What? It wasn't me, I swear! I was just running the stand, I was gone before midnight!
Don't worry, I believe you. But with your luck, I'm surprised you weren't the one arrested for it instead of Edgeworth.
Edgeworth? Like our friend? Miles Atticus Edgeworth! From grade school?
What? The three of you were kids together?
Yeah, good ol' Edgy. Always going on about being a defense attorney like his dad.
Hold on. He wanted to defend people? But he's the demon prosecutor now. Nick, is that why?
Yeah, Edgeworth and you, Larry. You're the two that inspired me to become a defense attorney in the first place.
Huh?
Really?
Remember in the 4th grade? When Edgeworth's lunch money got stolen?
Oh, I think so. It's been a long time, man.
I could never forget. A single accusation was all that it took. In the blink of an eye, I went from classmate to crook. Alone, hopeless, terrified, I've never felt so weak. My sentence was decided long before I could speak.
Guilty, he did it. Guilty, it was you. Guilty, admit it. Did you rob a bank too?
What? I'm not a thief.
Guilty, he's lying. Your Honor, he's trying to pin the blame on some other you. That Mimi. We won't be fooled. We'll wait till you rule and force teenage Mike to tell the truth.
Their disbelieving eyes all said I had done it. With no one on my side, I had nowhere I could run. I turned to that boy and tried to admit what I had not done.
Guilty.
That's when it happened.
Objection!
Young Edgeworth appears and points.
This so-called class trial is a disgrace!
What do you mean, Miles?
Yeah, he stole your money.
You amateurs, your accusations make no sense. Could my own classmates really be this dense? Your Honor, if I may, in Wright's defense. Well, did you take my money?
No, I didn't.
All that matters in this court is decisive evidence. You should all be ashamed of yourselves!
I remember it so clearly, even after all these years.
You call this mob mentality a jury of his peers?
The way the light of righteousness was blazing in his eyes.
A trial without proof is where justice dies.
The jury of kids exchange looks.
But it was him.
Thief!
Yeah, he did it. He's the one. We don't need proof. Crimes can't be undone.
I told you I didn't do it!
They can't tell now.
Oh, shut up!
It's young Larry.
If he says he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. Did you even stop to think about how he feels? Give it a rest!
The jury of kids grumble and fade away.
They listened to Larry, though. Maybe Edgeworth used too many big words. So the teacher replaced the money herself, and the three of us were friends from that point on.
Wow, Mr. Edgeworth really did that for you? It doesn't sound anything like him.
Even as the victim, he let mercy take the lead. So how can I now turn my back when he's the one in need? No, I'll defend the demon, 'cause it's the least that he deserves. I'll fight for him like he fought for me until justice is served.
That's so sweet of you, buddy. Leave it to me to save the day, am I right?
Larry's phone rings and he immediately disengages.
Whoa, sorry, Nick. Hey, Angel baby, how's it hanging? What? Wait, baby, don't be like that!
Larry walks off stage. Phoenix rolls his eyes.
When something smells.
So you really decided to become a defense attorney because of that? Because of him? Weren't you, 9?
It's the most alone I've ever felt. No one should have to go through that. Ever.
Yeah.
He moved away a few months later, and we lost touch. When I heard he'd become a prosecutor, I was shocked, and I thought, well, he'd have to face me if I were a defense attorney.
Maya stares at him with a mixture of awe and amusement, and perhaps concern.
My academic advisor gave me the same look.
They laugh at the absurdity of it all.
You've done a lot for him. It's sweet. And I can see why you trust him so much. But, Nick, people change.
You're tearing me apart, Angel!
Sometimes. Come on, we've got to keep investigating.
Gumshoe enters, so wrapped up in using his metal detector that he doesn't realize Phoenix and Maya are there, until Phoenix turns around and sees the metal detector pointing in his face.
Oh, there you are. I've been looking all over for you.
He scans Phoenix's face some more.
You know, you need more iron in your diet, pal.
Maya, despite herself, laughs at Gumshoe's joke. Phoenix pushes the metal detector down.
I don't think scanning a person is going to help you much, Detective.
You never know, pal. You could have been bugged. I'm not supposed to be sharing this stuff, see? But for Mr. Edgeworth...
Gumshoe glances around, then passes a file folder to Maya in the most obvious covert handoff imaginable.
Score! You're not going to get in trouble for sharing this with us, are you?
Well, I already have a reputation for losing things.
Looks like they have 2 witnesses. A photographer named Lotta Hart and the boat shop caretaker? That old guy's a witness?
Lotta Hart?
Maya hands Phoenix the report and he begins leafing through.
But why is he just the boat shop caretaker? Shouldn't the police know who he is?
We're at a loss, pal. Nobody knows his name, and he's got no records or IDs anyway. He must have had some rough jobs before this one, though, because we can't even get a good fingerprint off him. We don't know any more than you.
Phoenix reads off the page.
Around midnight last night, the victim was shot point blank in the heart and died instantly. The body has been identified as...
Phoenix stops and steps back in shock.
Nick, are you all right?
Maya, it's Marvin Grossberg.
What? Mr. Grossberg? How? Why?
She snatches the report back from Phoenix and flips through it hastily.
You two know him?
He was Maya Fey's mentor. But what does he have to do with Edgeworth?
They found his diary.
As Maya reads, Grossberg appears in a spotlight apart from the others on stage and recites his diary entry.
December 24th, 2016. Tonight,
I leave with great purpose. To meet with an old acquaintance on Gourd Lake. I don't know if I can ever fully atone for those I have wronged in the days of my youth. But now that Red White is behind bars, I have finally been granted the freedom to try. I owe it to my dear departed protege, to her mother, and to all whom I harmed with my foolishness and greed. Even still, can my sins in the DL6 case ever be forgiven?
The spotlight fades, and Grossberg disappears.
DL6? What does Mr. Grossberg have to do with DL6? Sis might know. I've got to channel my sister.
She shoves the folder back into Gumshoe's hands.
Maya, don't you need more training?
Well, I channeled her when it was really important, and she knows more about Mr. Grossberg than anyone. I just need to focus. Here we go.
Phoenix backs up and gestures for Gumshoe to do the same. Maya performs a ritual with her Magatama and concentrates, with no apparent effect.
Is she getting better reception on a channel yet?
Ugh, we need to talk to Mr. Edgeworth now.
Maya
rushes off stage with Phoenix in pursuit.
Wait, you guys! There's more case info!
He exits after them. Blackout. Scene 5. Back in the detention center. Maya paces in the visitor's room anxiously. A moment later, Edgeworth enters the visitor's cell, flanked by Maggie. Maya immediately goes to stand in front of the visitor's chair.
Mr. Edgeworth, what does Mr. Grossberg have to do with...
If Wright thinks that having his assistant interrogate me will...
This isn't about Nick, and frankly, it's not about you either. If you don't want our help, then fine, but you don't just get to sit there and pretend like none of this is happening.
She slams her hands down on the desk.
What do you know about the DL6 incident?
What do you know about the DL6 incident?
Why can you never give a straight answer? DL6 was the murder case that the police enlisted my mother to solve. She channeled the victim, and he told the police who killed him. But the suspect was found not guilty. Everyone in the country called her a fraud, and now she's gone.
So, that spirit medium was your mother?
You do know something! Please, I need to know what happened to her. Why did they lose the case? Why did they blame her?
Edgeworth hesitates. Maya softens.
Mr. Edgeworth, please. I just want the truth. Justice! Isn't that what you're supposed to do as a prosecutor? Fight for great justice?
There's a flicker of recognition in Edgeworth's face, and he gives a small smile.
For great justice.
Or, I guess that's the
Steel Samurai. I'm well aware.
They almost laugh in spite of everything. Edgeworth's smile drops.
All these years, I thought I was the only one who had suffered. Miss Fey...
Phoenix suddenly enters with Gumshoe in tow.
Maya, there you are.
Edgeworth puts his defenses back up.
Ah, right. I'm glad you've returned. It seems I require your assistance after all.
What? Maya? Did you...
Sit down. Right.
Edgeworth exchanges a meaningful look with Maya.
It would not be fair for me to keep my secrets any longer. I'll tell you about DL6. It was a hugely public murder case, 15 years ago. Everyone was certain that the defendant was guilty, and yet defense attorney Marvin Grossberg won the case by exposing some of the investigation methods used by the police.
Exposing? Do you mean...
Mr. Grossberg was the one that told the press about Mom?
He told Red White, to be exact. The scandal of the decade, launching Bluecorp into a news media empire.
How could he do that? After that news story, everyone, even the village, they just drove her away.
It seems we've both lost someone we loved in this case, Miss Fey.
He turns his gaze away.
The victim in DL6 was a defense attorney named Gregory Edgeworth.
Edgeworth?
My father. He was shot. Right in front of me.
Phoenix and Maya are dumbfounded.
I don't remember much from that time. A defense mechanism, perhaps. But after I watched Grossberg acquit the only one who could have done it, I promised myself I'd never let criminals escape justice again.
That's why you left suddenly in grade school. I had no idea.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm so sorry, sir. If I had known...
I appreciate it, Detective, but I've preferred not to think about it. Until the Red-White trial, when I heard Marvin Grossberg's name on that dossier. Well, regardless, I recently received a letter from Mr. Grossberg asking to meet me at the lake. I had figured he wanted to tie up loose ends, even make amends. After all, the statute of limitations for DL6 has almost expired.
Statute of limitations?
Yes. In 2 days' time, 15 years from the incident, the case will be closed forever.
So, you did meet with Grossberg last night?
Yes. We took a boat out on the lake to speak privately. But I did not shoot him.
What did happen then?
I'm not sure. I remember gunshots, but...
The others share glances.
You don't have to say it. It's a dubious defense, even if it is the truth.
But it's still the truth. Let me defend you, Edgeworth.
I'll help too.
Gumshoe passes out papers and a pen.
Took you long enough, pals.
You three... I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. Just sign.
He does. Then passes the paper to Phoenix for him to sign.
Good thing you came around, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't want a state-appointed lawyer defending you against Mr. Von Karma, after all.
No.
Edgeworth? What's wrong? Who's Von Karma?
Scene 6. Lights shift. Spotlight on Von Karma, suddenly appearing from the shadows.
I'm in charge of every trial. I'm always in full control. The judge merely has to smile. To say guilty is his only role. I sustain my own objections to win the courtroom war. None shall interfere with my perfect guilty score. If justice is blind, then I will guide her to declare everyone guilty. I simply cannot help to maintain my perfect record. I will do what I must. Place in court for truth, peace, order, or trust.
My father's killer went free. He was the one who took me in. The only vacation in his 40-year career was spent formalizing the adoption. He made me the man I am today.
Well, maybe he's planning to go easy on you.
I've not lost a case in all my years. I bring these pitiful lawyers to tears. In prosecution I have no peers. Manfred von Karma, perfection incarnate.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Well, it appears the prosecution...
Silence! I was taking a meaningful pause before speaking.
I'm so sorry. Do you have an opening statement?
Of course. I raised Miles Edgeworth as one of my own, but I cannot be impeded by such sentimentality. Decisive evidence, a decisive witness. Nothing else is required.
For if justice is blind, then I will guide her to declare everyone guilty. I simply cannot help to maintain my perfect record. I will do what I must. No place defendant will shortly be revealed in his deadly crime and sin. For my case against him is perfect, and I'll do anything to win.
You know, a visit from Mia would be really nice right about now.
I'm trying. I've been trying.
Distinguished members of the court, just after midnight on December 25th, Miles Edgeworth shot Marvin Grossberg and dumped his body into Gourd Lake. The defense has no opening statement, so I shall begin.
Objection! I do have an opening statement.
Wrong. Do not interrupt me again.
What?
Yes, he's quite right, of course.
What?
The police were called to the scene by the caretaker of a nearby boat shop. When they arrived, they discovered a body in the lake, a gun in one of the boats, and the defendant sitting in his car nearby. The ballistic markings from the bullet extracted from the heart of the victim match the pistol found at the scene.
What are ballistic markings, Nick?
They're like fingerprints for guns. Every gun leaves a unique print on the bullet it fires.
Silence! We do not have time for baby's first murder trial. The adults are talking.
Phoenix and Maya freeze like kids caught whispering during class.
Fingerprints were discovered on the pistol, from the defendant's right hand.
The crowd bursts into chatter. Phoenix, in disbelief, rounds on Edgeworth.
Your prints were on the gun?
I think we've established that.
Your prints were on the gun?
I was in a daze!
Order! I shall have order in my court.
With a stomp of Von Karma's cane, the crowd instantly falls silent.
Now, I will call one witness to the stand whose testimony will prove Miles Edgeworth's guilt. Then, Your Honor, you will bang your gavel and end this trial.
Yes, sir.
The crowd starts to chatter once more.
I thought Detective Gumshoe said that there were two witnesses, the boat shop caretaker and...
I call Lotta Hart to the stand.
Lotta makes her way to the witness stand, all smiles, setting down a camera and microphone attachment on a tripod facing the defense's bench.
Wait a minute. I know you. You were Red White's secretary.
At the mention of Red's name, the crowd starts murmuring suspiciously.
Order!
Von Karma bangs his cane, setting off the camera flash, causing Phoenix to flinch. Lotta shuts her camera off.
Nah, I left all that secretary business behind me months ago. Now I spend my time with my trusty camera and microphone here. It's set to go off for any loud, sharp noise, so I can snap up that lake monster everyone's talking about.
The prosecution submits these two photos of the lake, taken automatically at the moment of each gunshot. As you can see, they both show two men in the boat, one of whom is holding a gun. They capture the moment of the murder.
The crowd murmurs more. This time, the judge bangs his gavel to silence them.
Order! The court accepts these photos as evidence. Frankly, I'm quite convinced of the defendant's guilt.
Hold it! I demand to cross-examine the witness. We have yet to hear her testimony in her own words.
I grow tired of these wastes of time, but if you must...
Y'all need to loosen up. You're so tense and serious. This ain't a funeral.
It's close enough, isn't it? It's a murder trial.
Y'all need to learn some manners, too. It ain't polite to talk like that to a young lady.
Witness, don't say anything trivial or unrelated to this case. Understand?
Yeah, I understand. Y'all listen up now and listen good, 'cause what I'm about to say is true. 'Cause what I saw is what happened, and this is what that killer to do. I was camping by the lake in my car that Christmas Eve. I reckon was past midnight when I heard a big bang pow, and I looked around only to see the absurd. Two gents in a boat, the only thing on the lake, not a nary thing around that I could see. There was another bang, and not a dang thing could have done what I saw there be.
Witness, you're saying you saw the murder take place?
Sure did. Y'all listen good now. I heard 2 dang gunshots that night. When I heard the first shot, I looked out at that boat. Then there was another flash and someone fell into the water.
Hold it! Miss Lotta, you gotta be lying. It couldn't have been that way. Y'all, if you reckon it was past midnight, that means it was Christmas Day. Ha!
Objection! Irrelevant! The defense is out of hand. The witness merely misspoke the date. Her testimony still stands.
Okay, let's see. When you looked at the lake, could you clearly see the men?
Ain't the photo proof enough for you?
No, it isn't. I'm asking if you saw them.
Objection! This tells us nothing new.
Were you looking at the lake when you heard the second shot?
Sure, I guess I was.
Were you or were you not?
Enough! I think we've heard all we need to hear. Judge!
I am ready to hand down a verdict.
No!
Mr. Wright, I will have to penalize any further outbursts by holding you in contempt of court.
Nick!
This court hereby finds the defendant...
Hold it!
Who was that?
It was me.
Maya, what are you...
Lotta, your testimony's real strange. Is it possible to see anyone in that range? You're being unclear about what you saw. How do you account for this flaw? Did you even see Edgeworth at all?
Objection!
Hey,
Enough
what's the
of
big
this
idea?
nonsense!
Treat me
Judge,
like some kind of
declare the
criminal?
defense in
I
contempt
saw
of
him,
court.
I swear,
Now!
I saw Edgeworth.
Very well. You have been warned. Bailiff, please remove Mr. Wright from the courtroom.
No, wait! Please, it was me who spoke out. Nick didn't do anything.
Very well. Bailiff, remove Miss Fey from the courtroom.
Maya!
You're almost there, you two. The truth's in sight.
Miss Fey.
Wait a minute. Truth in sight. Sight! Of course! Your Honor, please. Did you hear what Miss Hart just said? She said she clearly saw Mr. Edgeworth. This wasn't in her testimony before. This means she has a new testimony, and I have a right to cross-examine her again.
Objection! Pathetic! It's too late for baseless claims. The girl's already paid the price. Say one more word, you'll get the same. Judge, continue with your verdict.
I'm sorry, but I cannot.
What?
Mr. Wright is correct. The defense may cross-examine the witness once more. This is still a court of law, Mr. Von Karma.
Listen well, Mr. Wright. I will not tolerate further badgering of my witness.
Miss Hart, could you please repeat your testimony?
The man on the boat was Edgeworth. His photo is my proof. I saw him clear as day, and I swear I'm telling the truth.
You claim this is significant? Then enlighten us.
I saw what I saw.
That's it?
I heard what I heard.
There's nothing I can see.
I may say
Hold on.
a lot of things,
That's it.
but I mean
It's right in front of
word.
me. Objection! Gotcha, Miss Hart. These photos show us the lake was incredibly foggy that night, and you were camping quite a distance away from the shore. And yet, you're positive you could identify Edgeworth, or anyone, in that boat.
You calling me a liar?
Well, if the boot fits.
Oh, you're cruising for a boot to the head, Spiky.
Miss Hart, if you really saw Edgeworth, why haven't you mentioned the other man in the boat? Marvin Grossberg, your other former boss.
What? Crowdybird kicked the bucket?
The courtroom is silent. Von Karma massages his temples and Phoenix grins. Lotta realizes her mistake.
All right. I guess I couldn't really see Edgeworth for sure. But I didn't mean to lie, honest. It was just all so exciting being a real-life witness. But wait, I can make it up to y'all. I got something else to show you.
No, you don't. The prosecution has nothing more to present at this time.
Well, I do. I've got another photo. Don't look like much, but it might be important, I reckon.
Before Von Karma can stop her, Lotta shows her photo. It's the same shot of the lake as her previous two photos, only without the boat.
It's just a plain picture of the lake. The timestamp says it was taken at 11:50, almost 30 minutes before the murder.
You see why I tried to stop her? It's completely worthless to the court.
But if there's nothing in the photo, what caused the camera to trigger it all?
Clearly nothing that concerns this case.
I'm inclined to agree. Miss Hart, you are free to go.
What? But I want to see Baron Von Fancy Pants get his what for.
She gestures toward Von Karma.
Leave.
Lotta falls silent, folds up her camera gear, and gives a motivational thumbs up to a frustrated Phoenix as Maggie leads her off stage.
Well, if there's no one else for us to hear from, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
But that's not true. There's one more witness that we have yet to hear from. The boat shop caretaker.
Prosecutor von Karma.
This caretaker is unfit to testify. He suffered a traumatic brain injury some years back and has lost, among other things, his long-term memory.
How was 2 days ago long-term? Your Honor, he's obviously hiding.
However, if the defense insists on wasting this court's time, I am, of course, prepared to question him.
Wait, really?
Very well. This court will take a brief recess to allow the prosecution to prepare its next witness.
Everyone exits, except Phoenix and Edgeworth. Phoenix puts his head down on the defense's bench with a groan. The sound snaps Edgeworth back from being lost in thought.
Well, don't put on a brave face just for me, right?
Maya and Gumshoe enter the courtroom together, unnoticed by Phoenix.
It's days like today I really wish Mia were here.
Maya hears this and stops. Phoenix spots her and puts on a bit of forced cheer.
Maya!
Hi, Nick. Did you do it? Did you win?
Well, we didn't lose.
He turns the smile meaningfully to Edgeworth.
Edgeworth?
He discreetly motions toward Maya.
Yes. That was an irresponsible and foolish thing you did, Miss Fey, and assistant is of no use if they're kicked out of court.
Maya steels her face and flees the scene, as Phoenix and Gumshoe look on, completely stunned. Edgeworth, on a roll, doesn't notice Maya's exit.
Not to mention the danger to your future.
Edgeworth.
A false accusation can be explained away, but how do you expect to find a job with a second arrest on your file? You simply—
Edgeworth!
Edgeworth belatedly turns around, seeing Maya is gone.
Wait, pal. No one's paid your bail yet.
I thought you were an eloquent speaker.
I didn't—
He quickly takes out an elegant checkbook and writes a check, handing it to Gumshoe.
Here. This should cover her bail.
You got it, sir. I'll get it to the detention center right away, and I'll go find her, pals. Don't you worry.
Very well, Detective. Please tell her...
I know what to say. You can trust me, pal.
Gumshoe takes off quickly in the direction Maya left. Edgeworth sits back in the defendant's chair, seemingly distracted.
Edgeworth, listen. I know this is a tough case, but as long as you have faith in me and tell me everything you can remember, we will get to the bottom of this.
Of course. Everything I remember.
Blackout. Scene 7. People Park, outside. Maya is performing her channeling ritual, unsuccessfully. She flops down dejectedly with a sigh, then tries again after a moment, holding the Magatama close to her heart.
Head up, back straight, while you're staring down your fate. Stand your ground, don't back down, you won't crack under the weight. I'm sorry, Nick, but I can see that you need Mia now, not me. And so, why should I stay?
As Maya sits crying, Gumshoe enters, speaking on the phone with Maggie.
Yeah, I know, Maggie. But something's come up. Can you cover for me? You're the best, Maggie. Talk to you later.
Gumshoe approaches Maya.
Hey, Miss Fey?
Detective, you shouldn't have come. You have better things to do, like solve the case. Without me.
Oh, don't be like that, pal. You've helped out a bunch. Mr. Edgeworth was just trying to thank you, you know.
He's sure got a funny way of showing it.
He paid your bail for you, pal. That's gotta mean something.
He did? But he said I was irresponsible and foolish.
Oh no, pal, he doesn't think that. See, you just have to learn to speak Mr. Edgeworth's language. Like when he says, "I should duck your pay, detective." What he means is, "I know you can do better, Dick." And when he says, "Get out and leave me alone," what he's trying to say is, "I'm feeling really down and could use some extra support."
He sits next to Maya.
And when he says, "You're irresponsible and foolish," what he means to say is, "Thanks for sticking your neck out for me, pal."
Good to know I'm appreciated, even though I have no clue what I'm doing.
I get you, pal. But it's not about having all the answers. Sometimes all you need is somebody by your side. Somebody you can trust. And if that's what you want to be, I'd say you're doing a damn good job already.
Thank you, Detective. I guess we should go back and wait for Nick, huh?
Well, hang on a second, pal. I mean, we're not too far from the lake, and the caretaker's called in as a witness right now. So while he's gone...
He mischievously pulls out the metal detector from his coat.
Why don't you and I go inspect every suspicious-looking nook and cranny of that boat shop?
Maya returns a mischievous smile, and the two head off towards the boat shop. Scene 8, back in the courtroom. The caretaker is capering. Everyone else looks annoyed, frustrated, or exhausted.
Oh, pasta shop, pasta everywhere, pasta shop, pasta in your hair.
Witness, we've been through this. Please stick to the case.
Yes, sir, I think I lost my place.
You said you saw someone bringing a boat back from the lake.
I remember, yes, I saw that blubbery man and no mistake. He was talking to himself and I remember what he said over and over, uttering, "I can't believe he's dead."
And you are certain it was the defendant?
Yesterday is hazy, 10 years ago, it's all a blur, but it was him, that Edgeworth boy, and I know that for sure.
The crowd explodes into discussion. This time, Von Karma just smirks, and the judge, after a moment of confusion, actually has to use his gavel.
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Witness, I am impressed by the lucidity of your testimony.
Thankfully, the witness's short-term memory remains intact. There is no need for a cross-examination.
What? But if he were lying...
Objection! I will not have my witness be needlessly slandered. In a court of law, evidence is everything, and you, Mr. Wright, have nothing.
Phoenix desperately looks through his evidence and turns up nothing.
No. No!
Judge, I demand you give your verdict. Now.
Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, guilty. The accused will surrender to the court immediately to be held pending his sentencing. That is all. Court is adjourned.
But just as the judge lifts his gavel to adjourn the court...
Wait! Objection! Wait!
Larry bursts out of the crowd and runs to the witness stand, tripping and stumbling on the way there.
No! I have to testify!
Larry? What are you doing?
Your Honor, dismiss this man. You have already declared...
But I was there! I was at the lake that night, just like that guy! And hearing him testify, I realized I heard the gunshot! You're done questioning him? Well, I'm here, completely questionable.
This has never happened before. I'm not sure what the proper procedures are to follow.
There are no proper procedures. The trial has ended.
Your Honor, these are lives we are dealing with. To ignore any evidence would be a horrible distortion of justice.
There is a tense beat as the judge considers this.
I agree with the defense. If Mr. Edgeworth is in fact guilty, this testimony will not change that fact. We will hear it.
Von Karma for the first time looks uneasy.
Right. This could be our chance. Von Karma plans out his trials to the last detail, but this... There's no way he could have planned for this. He's worried.
Of course he's worried. It's Larry. I'm worried.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Larry Butts, ladies' man.
This is a colossal waste of time.
Mr. Butts, please begin your testimony.
You got it, Pops. Well, I was hanging out with my girlfriend Ruth in my mansion with the golden picket fence.
Sir, must I remind you now to please tell the truth, because perjury's a criminal offense.
Whoa, sorry, let me try that again. See, I was all alone cause I'd just been dumped, and I know that isn't easy to believe. Out by the lake where I was selling some junk, it was my only company that Christmas Eve. But as I boarded up and locked up my shop, I heard a gunfire with a noisy pop. And I know you don't think my opinion counts for a whole lot, but let me guarantee you that I heard that shot. That's how it all happened, I recall it clear as day, so believe me even if you think I'm nuts.
His testimony's vague.
And you know just what they say when something smells.
It's usually the butts.
This witness contributing nothing. I demand he be dismissed, and ideally drawn and quartered.
Hold it! Larry, there is one thing that sounds out of place in your testimony.
And what's that, Nick?
Well, you say you heard a gunshot. Earlier, Miss Lotta Hart testified, and I quote, "Y'all listen good now, I heard 2 dang gunshots that night."
Nick, you said Miss and not Mrs., right? Because if she's available...
Larry, just tell me why you didn't hear the second gunshot.
Truth is that I was listening on my headphones, because radio's the friend that's always there. I like to jam out when I'm feeling alone, so I may have missed a shot that filled the air. But I remember that one bang that I heard. The DJ was talking when it occurred. So I know it wasn't something like a killer drum and riff, but I can guarantee you that I was scared stiff. When the DJ had talked, there was hardly any noise, so I listened in awe of her really sexy voice. It was pure and demure, yet mature and so refined. I can't get that lovely voice out of my mind. That's how it all happened, I recall it plain as ink, and to get up here it took a lot of guts. Ah!
Or to be more succinct,
this whole testimony stinks, and when something smells, it's probably the butts.
I can't stand to listen to this lad. This young man has nothing new to add.
Larry, there's just one thing I should know. When you listen to the radio, in regards to the DJ, what exactly did she say on that show? Do you know?
I remember. She said, "Hey, it's almost Christmas."
Well, Mr. Wright, anything to add?
As compelling as your argument is, I demand that the witness end this pointless charade. Now!
Oh, very well. Mr. Larry Butts, you are now dismissed.
Objection! Your Honor, please. I just realized that Larry's testimony changes everything. If you recall, Miss Lotta's camera went off at 12:15, December 25th.
Yes.
And though the witness is incompetent...
and frankly quite a dope.
I know his shaky testimony's not a myth.
Guys, come
and though we all assume the gun fired twice, in fact the murder weapon fired thrice. One was fired Christmas Eve, the other's Christmas Day, and these 3 photos illustrate my repartee. See? One from when the camera went off at 11:50 p.m. Almost Christmas. And 2 more at 12:15. The camera caught 3 snapshots for 3 gunshots, and Larry's testimony proves it.
Why, you're absolutely right. No objections, Mr. Von Karma? Very well, then.
The question is, what happened in this 25-minute gap?
Indeed. We must look into this matter further. Mr. Butts, your final thoughts?
Get that
Wow, Nick has tried a trick and shot even me. It's impressive how you managed to survive. I think that you could even get a degree, or if worse, just imprisonment for life. That's how it all happened. happened, and that's all I gotta say. I recall it just like it was yesterday.
It was Tuesday.
And so I saved the day, even though I'm just a clown.
When something smells, it's gotta be.
That man needs a lobotomy.
When something smells, it's gotta be a boss.
That's right. It's gotta be the boss.
Get him out of here.
Acha!
Larry knee slides out of the courtroom, or something equally epic.
Your Honor, the relevance of Larry's testimony cannot be denied. There were 25 minutes between the first gunshot and the murder witnessed by Miss Hart. More than enough time for the real killer to dispose of the body and stage a crime scene.
So, you've invented a real killer. How utterly desperate.
Mr. Wright, who would this real killer be?
The only person with unlimited access to the crime scene. The boat shop caretaker. He lured Grossberg to his shop, shot him, and threw the body into the lake. He then met with Edgeworth in disguise as Marvin Grossberg. Once they were out on the lake, the caretaker fired the gun twice. One to create a witness, and one for the murder itself. Finally, he jumped in the water and swam back to the boat shop, framing Edgeworth for the crime.
What a ludicrous story.
But you can't rule out the possibility, can you? Not without questioning the caretaker further.
I agree. I would like to hear from your witness again, Prosecutor Von Karma.
Yes, Your Honor. Bailiff?
Yes, sir.
Maggie exits to fetch the witness.
While we are waiting, I have some questions for the defendant. Mr. Edgeworth, you heard the testimony?
How could I have possibly missed it, Your Honor? Indeed, what Wright has concluded is logical.
Do you have to sound so surprised?
Suddenly, Maggie bursts back into the courtroom.
Your Honor, sir! The witness! He's disappeared!
What?
The officers at the lake says he's not at the boat shop either.
Mr. Von Karma!
As this has been happening, Von Karma has taken a piece of paper from his files, signed it, and handed it to Maggie.
A warrant has already been issued.
Good. Well then, it goes without saying that I cannot declare a verdict under these circumstances. I request that the police department utilize all its forces to find that witness. Am I understood?
Maggie salutes and heads out.
Very well. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Everyone exits, except Phoenix and Edgeworth, who are quickly joined by Larry.
I can't believe we got out of that unscathed.
Thanks to my awesome performance. Ah, man. It's been forever since it's just been the three of us against the world. Right, Edgy?
He puts an arm around Edgeworth's shoulder, who shrugs it off and begins distractedly pacing.
Ah, come on! I had 'em swooning in the aisles.
I do remember feeling faint.
We're just a bunch of heroes, aren't we? I mean, you saved me, you're saving him, I saved both of you, and way back when, he saved you!
Phoenix clears his throat, embarrassed. He sees Edgeworth is distraught.
Hey, Larry,
Larry, for once, reads the room.
Yeah. So, anyway, I got a jet. You two take it sleazy. I'm gonna go ask out the future Mrs. Lotta Butts.
He exits with a series of nonverbal signals for Phoenix to talk to Edgeworth. Phoenix shoos him off, then approaches Edgeworth, cautiously.
Edgeworth, are you okay?
I need to tell you about something. It's been weighing heavily on my mind, and I need to get it off my chest.
Yes?
It's a nightmare I've been having. Recurring and remarkably consistent. I believe it may be a memory of a crime that I committed. A memory of a murder.
Blackout. Scene 9. The boat shop. Outside, Maya knocks on the front door. No reply. She tries the door, and it's unlocked. She and Gumshoe enter. It is empty and sparse, save for Polly on her perch. Gumshoe scans everything in sight with the metal detector.
Hello? Anybody here?
Anybody here?
Maya rushes to Polly.
Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you must be so lonely.
No sign of where he might have gone. I hope he remembered to water his parrot.
Suddenly, Gumshoe's metal detector beeps. It's reacting to something underneath a cloth on a small side table. Gumshoe pulls it off. It's a high-tech safe, in clear contrast to its surroundings.
Aha! This must be where he keeps his secret pasta recipes.
Maya fiddles with the safe, without success.
They didn't, teach you how to code break in detective school by chance, did they?
Sorry, pal. That parrot over there has a better chance of opening this thing than I do.
Hey, Polly, what's the safe combination?
1, 2, 2, 8, 4.
Maya and Gumshoe throw each other a look before Maya punches in the code. It works.
Whoa. All right then. But be careful, pal.
Maya opens the safe, and as they peek inside, Phoenix bursts through the door, startling them.
Gumshoe? Maya, are you all right?
Maya walks over to Phoenix. Gumshoe lets them have their moment and looks thoroughly through the safe.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Maya, Edgeworth wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. He's just not good with people.
I noticed. Why'd you come here, though? Shouldn't you be investigating?
I am. This caretaker is suspect numero uno.
Him?
Found something.
Gumshoe pulls an envelope out of the safe, handing it to Maya.
Geez, whoever wrote this must be meticulous. This handwriting is practically perfect.
She opens the envelope, pulling out a letter. She hands the envelope to Phoenix, who reads the front as Maya reads on.
It's addressed to YY.
Get your revenge on Marvin Grossberg and Miles Edgeworth?
What?
This is your last chance. Now is the time to get revenge on the two men who ruined your life. It looks like a list of instructions. How to kill Mr. Grossberg and frame Mr. Edgeworth for it.
Phoenix reads over Maya's shoulder.
Write to Grossberg, kill him, get Edgeworth in a boat. 2 gunshots? I can't believe this. This is exactly what I laid out in court today.
Whoa, you figured that out?
So that's it. This YY guy is the real killer, pal. This is just what we need to save Mr. Edgeworth.
But it's not enough. We have to prove that the caretaker is YY and that he actually did what the letter said.
And why this guy wanted revenge on Mr. Grossberg and Mr. Edgeworth to begin with.
It must have something to do with DL6. That's the only connection between the two of them.
If that's the case, pal, I think I know where we can find out more.
Gumshoe gestures for them to leave. He exits with Phoenix close behind. Maya is almost out the door herself when she suddenly turns around.
Oh, Polly, I'll come back to visit you later, okay? I won't forget.
She exits. We sit with Polly for an extra beat.
Don't forget, DL6.
Blackout. Scene 10. Outside the records room in the Criminal Affairs Department. Gumshoe looks around stealthily, then ushers Phoenix and Maya by quietly.
Now remember, the records room ain't open for civilians. You gotta lay low.
He swipes the door with his ID card and the door unlocks.
Gotcha! Go find the evidence you need, pals. I'll stand guard and make sure no one sees you.
Thank you so much, Detective Gumshoe. We're really grateful.
No time for that, pal. Now go! Investigate! Learn!
He shoos them into the records room, and with a last,
"For Mr. Edgeworth!"
he slams the door shut.
Why don't you have as much energy as Detective Gumshoe, Nick?
I used to, until I took up some babysitting on the side.
Hey.
She elbows him. He smiles. Maya takes the joke more seriously than she lets on.
Come on, let's go find that file.
As they go look, lights shift to Gumshoe outside the door. Maggie and other police officers run by. She spots Gumshoe and drags him along with her.
Dick! They found the caretaker! Let's bring him in.
Oh, Maggie,
The police exit as lights shift back to Phoenix and Maya. She opens a drawer.
Found it. Unsolved case number DL6. Nick, it's empty.
What?
So creepy. There's just a couple loose papers and a big empty box where the evidence should be.
Phoenix takes the pages and reads the headings.
Suspect data, case summary, State versus Yanni Yogi.
Why? That's him!
Phoenix bullet points for Maya as he reads on.
DL6, December 28th, 2001. The district courthouse. An earthquake knocked out the power and 3 people were trapped in an elevator. Attorney Gregory Edgeworth, his son Miles, and bailiff Yanni Yogi. Grossberg argued that Yogi suffered temporary insanity due to brain damage from the lack of oxygen, so he couldn't be held liable for killing Gregory. Yogi's fiancée at the time left him soon after the incident.
Maya takes out the YY letter, handing it to Phoenix.
But if Yogi was found not guilty, why would he want revenge?
Maybe he blames Grossberg for...
He suddenly stops, studying the letter intently.
Nick?
Phoenix searches for something in his briefcase.
I've seen this handwriting before, I swear.
He finds what he was looking for, scrutinizes it for a moment, and passes it to Maya. She looks it over and compares it to the letter.
What is this? The search warrant for the caretaker? Wow, this is the exact same handwriting.
Would you call it practically perfect?
Maya and Phoenix exchange the same wide-eyed expression as they realize.
What are you doing here?
On Karma!
Mr. Von Karma. This letter. It was you, wasn't it? You instructed Yanni Yogi to commit murder.
Yanni Yogi. How many years has it been since I heard that name? Now it appears, Mr. Wright, you've grown wise to my game.
So you admitted
He's such a
you
fool.
wrote this letter!
Yes, my dear defense attorney, and I must thank you. Bringing it here saved me a great deal of needless hassle.
He reaches for the letter, but Phoenix pulls away.
You should know, I do not negotiate with defense attorneys. They're like bugs to me. Worthless things. To be crushed.
Von Karma pulls something out of his pocket and approaches Phoenix and Maya.
Nick, what is that thing?
A stun gun. For self-defense. Usually.
Oh, and how arduous I thought this process would be. And yet you stand here, so render that letter to me. This trial is ending, now your life's depending on lending that parchment you see.
Maya, don't get any closer. No, Von Karma, no, sir. We won't let you stand in our way. We both know Miles Edgeworth is innocent. This meeting won't lead us astray.
These last 15 long years for vengeance I've waited, hoped, anticipated the payback I seek. Those who would mar me must face their subjection, as without reflection I punish the weak.
But Edgeworth...
Ha! A pitiful, second-rate romanticist. Just like his father. His father. Oh, that cockroach! Only he would dare defy me!
Defy you? You mean...
I faced him in court. I crushed him in court. But he scored a single blow. A single penalty. The only one in my career. He scarred my perfection, and I will have my revenge. His son will feel my wrath. All the rage that's been building. Tenfold! Now 600,000 volts will course straight to your veins.
For the truth will emerge, the verdict will not
usually die, though you might feel some pain. You ought to know better, so hand me that letter, lest you watch this child be slain. Enough of this. Give me that letter.
Now.
No!
Maya leaps at Von Karma. She grapples with him, making him drop a small plastic bag without him noticing.
Run!
Idiot girl! What do you think you're doing?
Maya collapses.
Maya! Maya!
Now, where were we? If you'll excuse me, I'll leave with this missive. I won't abuse thee long as you're submissive. Like Yogi and Grossberg, each one was a pawn. Now I'll take that letter, and with that I'm gone.
I can't let you do that, Von Karma.
Foolish fool. I will not let you deter me any longer. Out of my way!
Phoenix collapses. Von Karma takes the letter from Phoenix's grip.
See you in court, Mr. Wright.
He turns to leave, but then turns back around, stuns Phoenix into unconsciousness, then exits. Lights dim. Scene 11. Time passes. Lights up as Phoenix finally stirs. He remembers what happened and, with little regard for his own injuries, immediately reaches over to Maya.
Maya! Maya, are you okay? Maya, please get up. Open your eyes.
Nick?
Maya! Oh, thank God you're okay. I thought that...
The letter! Did he take it?
Well, yes, but that doesn't matter now. I'm just glad you're okay.
What are we going to do? That letter was the key to the whole case!
I don't know. But we know the truth now. If we just turn our thinking around, there has to be another way to prove it. There has to be.
I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. Maybe if we tried to run away, we'd still have the letter.
Maya, it's okay.
No, Nick! It's not okay! I'm not okay! Every time I try to help, I just make things worse, and you... I know you wish I was Mia instead.
Maya, I am so sorry I made you feel that way. I do miss Mia. A lot. But I am so glad you're here. I wouldn't have gotten this far without you. We would have lost today if you hadn't confronted Lotta. I freeze sometimes. I panic, but you're always pushing ahead. You're amazing.
Nick.
Thank you, Maya. I should have said it sooner. Thank you for being here. For being you.
You know, I wish Mia were here too.
Maya.
But I believe in us. I believe in you. She would too.
Yeah. I know we can do this. We have to.
Phoenix notices the dropped plastic bag.
Wait, what's this?
He picks it up and reads the label.
DL6 incident, evidence number 7, bullet from the heart of Gregory Edgeworth. Von Karma was holding this when you jumped him. Maya!
He helps Maya stand.
In darkest times you show no fear, you stand up to lend me your light. I don't know how we'll save the day, but now thanks to you, we'll find a way. For no one fights quite like a fake, and the truth must be inside.
Lights shift to Edgeworth sitting alone in his detention cell.
Tomorrow's trial, my sentence is decided. The truth brought to light. I've run out of time. At last I'll answer for my crime. Tomorrow's trial.
Tomorrow at last this comes to an end. Tomorrow I swear I'll defend my friend.
Tomorrow Tomorrow at last, it's out of my hands. I'm telling you right, you don't understand. This is my penance. This is what I deserve.
I will not rest until I see justice served. Tomorrow, at last, at last.
Add spotlights on Gumshoe and Maya.
Only one day left to go, our time is running short.
I won't give
I
up.
won't submit, he didn't commit a crime of any sort.
I won't
I'll
give
stay
in.
up all night reading files, but I know what I'm gonna say. I'll fight till the truth comes to light on this final day.
This is the end for me.
I won't give up the fight. I dread what lies ahead, but I'll do what's right. Tomorrow, at last, at last.
Everyone exits. Lights shift to the next morning in the courtroom. Gumshoe, Lotta, Larry, and the police join the crowd in the gallery.
The biggest trial we've seen in years, and everything's reversed. For who's in the defendant's chair but the man defendant's curse? Rookie versus veteran, a demon being tried, and the only man who's beaten him is standing at his side.
We've helped the prosecution convict a prosecutor.
Was Mr. Edgeworth just a witness, or was he the shooter?
We've given you the facts. We've done all we can do. We've all got your back, Nick. Now it's all up to you.
It's the last
final
day's fight. Who will win?
I will win.
All right.
It's taken 15 years, but it was worth the wait.
I know I must stand alone to face my fate.
Together we'll face this to reveal the unknown.
It's far from over, and you're far from alone. We'll never stop fighting.
Justice for
There's no
all.
room for doubt.
One way or another, today the truth will come out. Today's the day at last.
Fix my past.
Court is back in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
The prosecution is perfectly prepared, and the defense...
Can speak for itself. We are ready, Your Honor.
Last night, the police were able to find the witness they carelessly misplaced. It seems our detective is so worthless he failed to tell the witness he had to stay in the courthouse.
Phoenix takes a deep breath and straightens his shoulders.
Your Honor, I demand the witness take the stand and state his name for the court.
Objection! Need I remind you, this witness cannot remember his name. While his short-term memory is intact, his long-term memory...
Is also intact. Your Honor, he remembers everything about his past, and he has a motive for this murder.
As Phoenix points at the caretaker sitting in the crowd, the rest of the crowd murmurs confusedly.
A bold claim, Mr. Wright. If you are certain of the caretaker's identity, who is he?
The caretaker is none other than Yanni Yogi, a former court bailiff and the defendant in the DL6 incident.
The murder in the courthouse elevator? But how can you be so certain?
He cannot be, Your Honor. The defense has no evidence, no one to testify. He might as well cross-examine the witness's parrot for comic relief.
Very funny, Von Karma, but we're not going to...
Phoenix trails off, inspiration striking him.
Nick?
Right, tell me you're not...
Hold it! Your Honor, The defense would like to take Mr. Von Karma up on his proposal.
What proposal?
The defense requests to cross-examine the witness's parrot.
The crowd goes into an incredulous frenzy. The judge bangs his gavel to no avail.
You can't do that! This is a mockery of the judicial system!
What are you gonna do? Cut my pay?
Absolutely!
Order! I said order! What do you think, Mr. Von Karma?
Do you even need to ask? But if you are really that foolhardy, be my guest.
Phoenix confidently points.
Let the parrot take the stand.
Just wake me up when this catastrophe is over.
Indeed. Bailiff, bring in the bird.
Maggie exits.
Nick, what are you thinking?
It's all right, Maya. You'll see.
Maggie enters with Polly and sets her on the witness stand. The caretaker sits and watches.
My, that's quite the bird. Does it have a name?
Polly doesn't respond, but looks around.
Hello?
She pecks the stand.
Mr. Wright, this witness is ignoring me.
Will the witness please testify?
No response.
Maya, she talked to you. Can you get her to answer?
Okay. Polly. What's your name?
The witness's name is Polly.
Yes, I believe she established that.
The defense has one more question for the witness, Your Honor.
Maya?
Polly. What's the safe combination?
1, 2, 2, 8.
Your Honor, here is your proof that the caretaker is Yanni Yogi. I submit to the court record the DL6 case file.
He hands the file to Maggie, who hands it to the judge.
Yanni Yogi had a fiancée who left him when he was arrested for the DL6 incident, which occurred on December 28th, 12/28. Her name was Polly Jenkins. He named the parrot after her and set the safe combination to the date of DL6.
That is quite a coincidence, but hardly conclusive.
Indeed. Mr. Wright, it appears you lack definitive evidence to link this man to the DL6 case.
What? No! We're so close, it can't end here!
There's gotta be something else we can use! What are we forgetting?
Don't forget DL6!
Enough! I'm done with this! All of it! My name is Yanni Yogi, and I killed Marvin Grossberg. All those years ago in that elevator. I was innocent, I swear. But no one, not even Grossberg, believed me. What are you doing? He claimed I had suffered brain damage.
Father!
He won the case, but I lost everything. Just think. So when a package arrived with a gun and instructions on how to take my revenge on the two men who ruined my life. I didn't care who sent it. I followed the orders happily. For my pasta shop, my will to live it drained. Pasta shop, leaving nothing to remain. I'm leaving nothing to remain. Yesterday burns clearly. 15 years I can't forget. Polly, forgive me. Yet with all I've lost, it's just as well. Farewell, pasta shop. I would rather be in hell. I have no regrets.
There is nothing but stunned silence, until the judge says,
Bailiff, Please arrest this man.
Maggie handcuffs Yogi. The silence continues as they and Polly exit. Edgeworth is shaken in thought.
Well, Judge, what are you waiting for? Render your verdict.
Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty.
Maya, Gumshoe, and Larry shout for joy. The crowd cheers. Phoenix is relieved. Edgeworth stands up, grasping himself tightly.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
But just as the judge raises his gavel...
Objection!
Everyone is shocked, except for a grinning Von Karma. Maggie rushes back in as Edgeworth races to the center of the courtroom.
Your Honor, I object to your judgment. I am not innocent at all.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing?
Yanni Yogi killed Marvin Grossberg and framed me for revenge. But revenge for what?
Objection! The verdict has already been passed.
Objection! I recall a fool raising an objection yesterday after a verdict had been passed. Miles Edgeworth must be heard.
Indeed. It is our duty to hear every witness out. Mr. Edgeworth, go ahead. Mr. Wright won't stop you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Edgeworth takes the witness stand. Phoenix straightens, looking through his files. He had feared this might happen.
Yanni Yogi wanted revenge on the two men who ruined his life. Marvin Grossberg, who convinced him to plead insanity, and, I have just realized, on me. I didn't want to believe it, but if Yanni Yogi was not the killer in DL6, everything becomes perfectly clear. The murderer, the real criminal of the DL6 incident, it was me.
Oh, never have we seen before a man who's been declared not guilty turn around and ask for more, confessing to a different guilt.
He's admitted to his crime.
Order!
I told you he was slime.
Order!
He won't go free this time.
Order!
Your Honor, I confess to the murder of Gregory Edgeworth, the statute of limitations of which ends today.
Who killed Gregory Edgeworth? Was Yanni Yogi wrongly accused? Who killed Gregory Edgeworth? How has justice been abused?
Order! Order! I confess this incident is completely unprecedented. I'm not certain how to proceed.
It is simple, Your Honor. We hold a trial. Right here, right now.
Very well. Is the prosecution prepared?
Always, Your Honor.
And the defense?
I'm sorry, Wright. I've wasted all your effort. You don't need to stay.
I need a moment to get my case ready, Your Honor.
Nick, what case? Mr. Edgeworth's already confessed.
I know. Edgeworth, I don't believe you.
What?
A nightmare isn't evidence, but this is. I'll prove your innocence. Trust me, I'm not giving up on you just yet. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Who killed Gregory Edgeworth in the son of them himself? The case is set to expire today. If they don't solve it now, it'll die upon a shelf.
Very well. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth, in this very courthouse. Testify about this matter to the court.
He's already confessed. What else is there to say? He killed Gregory Edgeworth.
Shh! That day, I had gone to the courthouse to observe one of my father's trials. I don't recall very much, except that my father lost, and that the prosecutor was Mr. Von Karma.
Von Karma was there 15 years ago as Gregory Edgeworth's courtroom foe. What a coincidence, who could have guessed? 15 years later, he's here for the son's arrest.
As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator with the bailiff, Yanni Yogi. We were fine at first, but as time passed and no one came to help, my father and Mr. Yogi began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. The bailiff's pistol.
Hold it! Did you know at the time that it was a pistol?
I don't know if I knew what it was, but I think I knew it was dangerous. But the air was so thin and they were fighting, I panicked. I picked up the gun and I threw it at the bailiff. I heard a single gunshot and a terrible scream. That's all I can remember. I wasn't even sure of that until today.
A gun in the hands of a panicked child. Can he be blamed if the shot went wild? A single gunshot, a single scream. With the lack of oxygen, could it have been a dream?
Hold it! Edgeworth, you're sure you only heard one gunshot?
Yes, there's nothing else. My next memory is of waking up at the hospital.
I've got you, Edgeworth. I've got you. Honorable members of the court, Miles Edgeworth recalls hearing only one gunshot, and yet the case file states that the murder weapon was fired twice. Furthermore, this photograph of the crime scene shows 2 bullet holes, one in the heart of Gregory Edgeworth, another in the elevator door. Now I ask you, where did the second bullet hole come from?
A bullet hole each in the victim and the door. 2 gunshots recorded, no less and no more. Little Edgeworth fainted after hearing just one. Who else was there who could have fired the gun? Who killed Gregory Edgeworth?
The first shot, fired accidentally by the young Miles Edgeworth, struck the elevator door. At this point, Miles fell unconscious. Therefore, the second shot, the shot that killed Gregory Edgeworth, must have been fired by someone else.
But who could this someone else be?
The real murderer, of course.
Who killed Gregory Edgeworth? The bailiff said it wasn't him. The son's memory is clearly dim. Who killed Gregory Edgeworth?
Objection! I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, let me call your attention once more to that little case file you love so much. Right there, on the very first page. What does it say?
No other evidence was found at the scene.
Precisely. No second bullet was found anywhere near that elevator.
But the bullet hole
could have been made at any time.
What?
Without a second bullet, the case falls apart. Only one was found in Gregory Edgeworth's heart. If the gun was fired once or twice, his rights were posed, then Miles Edgeworth must have done it, and the case is clearly closed. He killed Gregory Edgeworth.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to have wasted the court's time with this farce of a cross-examination. We're done here.
I must say, it seems the prosecution is correct. No objections, Mr. Wright? Mr. Edgeworth?
None, Your Honor. Everything Von Karma has said is true.
Nick!
Miles Edgeworth, you confess to killing your father?
Yes.
Come on, Nick! It's time for a turnabout!
It feels as though I've been here before, on the day I first entered the courtroom door. I should be saying so many things, but my mind's gone blank and I can't begin to think.
Object for Mr. Edgeworth.
Come on! Be strong and don't let your spirit break. Not yet!
What?
Object!
You?
Don't let it fire in the end. The second bullet must have been taken away.
Taken away? By the murderer?
Who killed Gregory Edgeworth? The gun, there's only one that finds the gun that's
Your Honor, it's time for the verdict.
Who killed Gregory Edgeworth? His son!
Objection! The second bullet has to exist. It was taken from the crime scene by the culprit.
Preposterous. Why would this culprit spend time searching for a stray bullet?
No, Von Karma. They had to take the bullet. The stray shot went through the elevator door and struck the real murderer.
As unlikely as it sounds, I cannot deny the possibility.
Deny it! Deny it now! Only the victim was wounded that day. There was no real murderer outside that elevator, and nothing to suggest there ever was.
Maya's eyes suddenly shoot wide open.
Mr. Edgeworth, didn't Von Karma only take one vacation in his career?
Yes. It was right after he adopted me. 15 years ago.
Phoenix, Maya, and Edgeworth stare at Von Karma in shock.
If the defense has secrets, I hope you brought enough for the rest of the courtroom.
The real murderer of DL6. Your Honor, I do have a suspect. One.
Phoenix hesitates, then points at Von Karma. The crowd is stunned into silence.
Mr. Wright, I hope you realize that your accusation is incredibly serious.
Not to mention foolish.
It all adds up. Mr. Von Karma was in the courthouse that day, and the only one there with a motive. His perfect trial record was destroyed by a penalty, all thanks to an objection raised by Gregory Edgeworth. There were no witnesses, because everyone in the elevator had passed out.
My mother wasn't a fraud. When she channeled Gregory Edgeworth, he really believed that Yogi had killed him.
Or that I had. Was Father protecting me?
You were walking by the elevator when, by pure chance, you were struck by the bullet fired by the young Miles Edgeworth.
But Mr. Von Karma has never been admitted to a hospital. Why leave such a wound unattended?
He must have been struck in a non-vital area. He recovered by himself during the only vacation of his career.
Von Karma unconsciously grips his shoulder.
This is... never in my life have I...
After all, if you'd gone to a hospital, the bullet could have been used as evidence against you.
Von Karma realizes what he's doing and releases his grip.
When that elevator door opened and you saw the man who ruined your perfect record lying unconscious right next to a gun, what did you do?
You cannot prove anything! The DL6 evidence went missing from the records room. Isn't that right, cockroach?
Phoenix proudly looks at Maya.
Wrong. The defense has one single piece of evidence from DL6.
He holds up the plastic bag.
The bullet extracted from Gregory Edgeworth's heart.
What? But I... And how, pray tell, does that prove anything at all?
Edgeworth faces Von Karma.
It's simple. If the ballistic markings on the bullet inside you are the same as on the bullet from my father's heart, that places you, with the gun, at the crime scene. You should know that, sir.
The crowd begins murmuring angrily at Von Karma.
If you think that I will play along, that I will trust any doctor in the world to cut me open and disprove your tale...
You can trust me, pal!
Gumshoe suddenly stands from the crowd, holding up the metal detector.
Detective Gumshoe, explain yourself!
Of course! The metal detector will tell us if Von Karma has the bullet inside him.
What?
It will be allowed.
Von Karma openly clutches his shoulder.
No! This is a violation of my privacy. I refuse!
Gumshoe sweeps the metal detector over Von Karma's right shoulder, and it beeps.
Not so worthless now, huh, pal?
Mr. Von Karma, you will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder, and we'll solve this case once and for all.
The courtroom seems to rumble as Von Karma screams with primal fury.
That scream. I've heard it before. In my nightmare, in the elevator, 15 years ago. This whole time. After all these years. It was you?
Suddenly, Von Karma's demeanor completely changes.
My dear boy, Miles, my son, please, don't do this to me. I raised you. Everything you are is because of me. This is how you repay your dear father?
Edgeworth calmly walks up to Von Karma and points, defense attorney style, in his face.
Objection. You're not my father. You killed my father. And as a prosecutor, as Miles Edgeworth, I condemn you.
Edgeworth, Edgeworth, that name is my curse!
Von Karma pushes Edgeworth to the ground, raising his cane to strike.
I'll bury you, just like I buried your father!
Gumshoe and Maggie jump into action. They pull out pistols and approach Von Karma from both sides. Gumshoe takes his cane and cuffs him.
Well, Your Honor, that sounded like a confession to me.
Yes, I must agree. This case is completely clear to me. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts.
What? No. No! This courtroom is a disgrace! You! Amateur! It's your fault I'm in this mess!
Your story's mere conjecture, within you I just find the ramblings of a madman who's completely lost his mind. You grasp at straws while standing with a condescending grin. No matter how pathetic, you'll do anything to win.
Mia enters, invisible to all but Phoenix.
There are people in
You're
this
bluffing.
world who'll try to
You haven't got a plan.
acting frightening, they
You're nothing. You cursed, stupid man. Like a stubborn, foolish swine, you merely yell and whine. And at last his case will finally unwind.
Some opponents are dishonest, they'll do anything to win. But now I know that I will not give in. And I won't stand for lying or accusing anymore. I know exactly what I'm fighting for. I fight for truth.
So stand wholeheartedly.
I fight for justice. I fight for everyone to have a fair chance. And when faced with tribulation, I think of my own inspiration. She taught me to always hold my stake. Not guilty. We fight for all. We fight with honor, and we will never rest. Together we unite. Forever since the world's creation, mankind has sought its liberation. So throughout this litigation, as we pursue purification, no matter what the situation, we will fulfill our obligation for the laws of consecration, for the better of the nation, for the future of all.
This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty.
We fight.
The courtroom and Mia fade away. Fade to blackout. Scene 12. Later that night, at the Wright & Co. law offices. It is dark, just like the night of Mia's death. But this time, it's decorated with streamers and balloons for Edgeworth's celebratory not guilty party. Charlie the plant stands nice, tall, and watered, covered with Christmas lights. Hiding out in the office are Larry, Lotta, Gumshoe, Maggie, and Maya. Edgeworth comes in, blindfolded, guided by Phoenix.
Okay, now.
Phoenix flips on the lights as Edgeworth removes his blindfold. The others pop out!
Surprise!
They all rush to give Edgeworth balloons, cake, etc., while congratulating him. He is totally overwhelmed by this level of socialization and outpouring of love. Larry gives him a bum rush hug.
My buddy Edgy, I told you Nick would get you free. He's a real ace attorney now, huh? Just like you.
Congrats and you're not guilty, pal.
Hey, Mr. Lawyer.
Yes?
No, the one with the funky hair.
A beat as Edgeworth and Phoenix look at each other's hair. Lotta turns to Edgeworth.
Dagnabbit, I'm talking to you, Strawberry Shortcake. I'm mighty sorry for, trying to get you convicted and all. It happens to the best of us, yeah?
Of course. I suppose I'm guilty of the same thing.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm sorry for running off the other day.
On the contrary, Miss Fey, you have my firmest apologies and sincerest gratitude. I would be on death row were it not for you.
He looks out over the smiling group, struck with emotion.
This is... well, I must say I was not expecting such a... Please excuse me for a moment.
He exits, causing Phoenix to follow him. Larry chats with Lotta.
The bullet was in his shoulder the whole time!
Lotta holds up her camera.
I know, butthead, I was there. Got some great shots, too. Maybe I should be an investigative photojournalist.
You don't say, babe. Well, maybe we could investigate some of those shots. Overshots?
They exit.
Dick, did you hear what happened to Chief Prosecutor Sky?
Fired?
Well, that's the story. But she was just demoted. Working under Chief Gant now.
Typical. Well, I guess we've still got a lot more work to do. You with me?
You can trust me, pal.
They share a moment before exiting. Maya, alone on stage, watches them. She puts her hand to her magatama and exits in thought. Phoenix re-enters looking for Edgeworth.
Edgeworth? Edgeworth!
Edgeworth finally reappears, approaching Phoenix.
Right. I guess what I want to say is... I'm forever grateful for your foolhardy defense. You saved me, in more ways than one. But I had no idea that everyone here was...
Edgeworth, we're your friends. It's what we do.
Edgeworth is taken aback by this notion.
I wish I knew what to do. After everything I've done, everyone I locked away.
You're not alone, Miles. Your friends are here to help you through it. I'm here.
Phoenix could take Edgeworth's hand at this point.
We could reopen those cases, run fair trials. Someday we could even help bring back the jury. From both sides of the courtroom. We'll change the world together.
That's an incredibly ambitious proposal, right?
It's how you saved me all those years ago. Fighting for justice, protecting the innocent. You changed my life that day.
You don't mean... that class trial? Don't tell me you really became a defense attorney just because of that. Because of me.
Well, maybe?
Phoenix.
What? What am I supposed to say?
You don't have to say anything.
Beat. An embrace of some sort may be shared here. Regardless, Larry enters, oblivious to the situation.
Oh, there you are, Edgy. Here, I've got a present for you.
He hands him an old envelope. Edgeworth reads the front.
$38?
That's a random amount. What can you buy with that?
Lunch money for a few days?
This whole time. After all these years. It was you?
Whoa, Nick. This is a happy moment. Let's not bicker and argue over who stole from who. Don't arrest me, Edgy.
Phoenix is dumbfounded.
Right. You know the saying.
When something smells...
Phoenix sighs, and the rest of the party barges in.
Hey, let's go get some real food, pals.
Something besides instant noodles could do you well, Detective.
Burgers! Nick's treat.
Objection?
Sustained. Miss Fey, it's only fair the meal is on me. It's what you all deserve.
He holds up the lunch money envelope.
I don't suppose this will suffice.
Edgeworth laughs. Lights shift as the offices and its inhabitants melt away. Scene 13. The train station. A train horn is heard in the background. Maya sits on a bench as Phoenix struggles to carry in her heavy suitcase.
All right. I guess that's everything.
Thanks, Nick.
Maya jumps up and picks up the suitcase easily. She stops, and she and Phoenix look at each other for a small beat.
You know it's not too late. You could stay. We could...
Nick, it's okay. This is the right thing to do. It's up to me to preserve my mother's legacy. I'm gonna restart my training and become a full-fledged spirit medium.
Will I ever see you again?
Yeah? I'll only be a train ride away. So dramatic. I swear Edgeworth must be rubbing off on you. But, Nick, are you sure you'll be okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's just... I guess I've gotten used to having you around. I'm really going to miss you.
You know, Nick, last time we were in court, I heard Mia's voice.
You heard her too?
And it made me realize the people we love never really leave us, you know? They make us who we are.
And I'll be here when we're far apart. Never fear, you'll be in my heart.
I hope you know I'm glad we met.
I'll carry on with no regret.
Just promise me you won't forget that for you I will be there.
They share one last hug. Maya exits. Phoenix waves goodbye as the train horn blows again and it leaves the station. Spotlight, as Phoenix sits alone on the bench for a moment.
Finally, the case is done, but soon there'll be another one. My search for truth has just begun. And yes, I know, there'll be dangers, there'll be crime. But I'm not afraid this time. I'll face the world and I'll be fine. Because I know I'm not alone.
Finally, the nightmare subsided. What I've done cannot be erased. But with new and old friends beside me, I know the future I can face.
I know the world will never be perfect, but I'll fight for all that it's worth.
I know these trials have brought us together. I know this day is our rebirth.
Here I am with the past far behind us. Here we stand with the future ahead. With you trusting me to fulfill our decree, to seek justice for all. Here we fight for what we love and believe in, with your life standing firm as our guide.
And with each passing day we'll be paving the way for a future reawakening.
Here I am, here I am, here I am. Here I am.
End of Act 2. Turnabout, an Ace Attorney musical by the Maya Fey Protection Squad. Abigail Stanton, Diana Heslin, Elizabeth Lawrence, Katherine Leister, Joel Williams, Maxwell Dziabis, Olivia Ramsey, and Sarah Shope. Based on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney by CAPCOM, and adapted from Turnabout Musical by PW Musical Productions. Phoenix Wright was played by Ren Alberg, Maya Fey, MJ Chestang, Miles Edgeworth, Gavarok, Mia Fey, De Awkward Lauren, Manfred von Karma, Zach Young, Dick Gumshoe, Dominic Miller, The Judge, Eric Larea, Larry Butts, The Singing Koala, Lotta Hart, Twyfairy, Red White, Hunter Oschlager, Yanni Yogi, Broadway Man 23, Maggie Bird, Queen Creeps, Lana Skye, Zoe Lee, Winston Payne, Ray O'Hare, Frank Sawit, Drama Josh, Marvin Grossberg, Bryn Tanner, Polly, Sassmaster Mickey, Young Edgeworth, Sneha Kumar, Young Phoenix, Kay Oss, Young Larry, Tamara Fritz, Gregory Edgeworth, James Turrell, The Thinker, Matthew Toronto. The core ensemble was performed by Ambrose Clark, Bridget Jack Foley, Chara Lynn, David A. Myers, James Turrell, Matt Smith, and Valerian. The child ensemble was performed by Archer Wells, Ashley Smith, Aurora Williams, Katie Knox, Matthew Williams, Robin Carlisle, Sassmaster Mickey, and Tamara Fritz. The narrator was Maxwell Dziabis. Other parts were played by Danny Paparozzi, Julia Heslin, and members of the cast and production team. The lyrics and music were written by Abigail Stanton, Amy Garrett, Brandon Lee Torres, Bryn Tanner, Comfortably Numb, Danny Paparozzi, Diana Heslin, Ed Garrett, Elizabeth Lawrence, Joel Williams, Justin Briner, Katherine Leister, Katie Knox, Kemi Haiti Stanton, Blizzard Lee, Logan Mello, Lucia Lebosvia, Mary Russ, Matt Furda, Matthew Toronto, Maxwell Dziabis, McKeel Van Bell, Olivia Ramsey, Samantha Smith, Sarah Shope, Sarah Toronto, and Tom Laughlin. Original themes from the Ace Attorney series by Masakazu Sugimori, Naoto Tanaka, and Noriyuki Iwadare. The book was written by Joel Williams, Maxwell Dziabis, and Olivia Ramsey, edited by Abigail Stanton, Diana Heslin, Katherine Leister, and Sarah Shope. Adapted from the original animation screenplay by Amy Garrett, Blizzard Lee, Lucio Lebosvia, Matt DiCarlo, Rachel Blyer, Sarah Toronto, and Tom Laughlin, and the stage script by Diana Heslin and Sarah Shope. This audio production was produced by Nerdification Media, Diana Heslin and Sarah Shope, who also managed the corresponding Indiegogo campaign. Special thanks to all of our backers. Production organization by Sarah Shope. Concept album mixing and cleanup by Diana Heslin. Instrumental mastering by Elizabeth Lawrence. Table read mixing and cleanup by Diana Heslin, Joel Williams, and Sarah Shope. Additional crowd and effects mixing by Sarah Shope. Quality check by Maxwell Dziabis. File management by Abigail Stanton, Elizabeth Lawrence, and Sarah Shope. Music direction and ensemble coordination by Sarah Shope. Turnabout, an Ace Attorney musical, is a fan project created for non-profit and shared online for free. Thanks for listening.
Wherever there's a case to try,
We'll be there on the trail.
we'll keep on searching for the truth, and I don't intend to fail. There's no place I will not go, there's nothing I won't do. We'll stand together side by side, and we'll see it through.
And when the witness is clearly lying to throw us off our case, we'll find a contradiction to rub in their smug face. And after we have made our careful selection,
With great resolve
and great inflection,
we'll deflect their misdirections, and with evidence as our aid, we'll yell, 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 yell. Objection!
Blackout. The end.